Hello, I'm DFW's own Danny Bayless, letting you know that you are about to hear a free podcast of The Dumb Zone. But if you'd like to subscribe at dumbzone.com, you will get 4 shows per week, plus the weekend wrap-up and any bonus epis like our Business Wednesday interviews. Oh, you'll also get our DZTV archives. Again, that's dumbzone.com to subscribe. Now, on to today's program.
The Dumb Zone.
Fairlease.org. You really can have it all with Fairlease, Blake. You can complete the entire process of leasing a vehicle, new or used, right from the comfort of your home. That's white glove service with Fairlease, fairlease.org. Drive now, pay later, 0 money down and no payments for 60 days. Don't be tied in to some onerous car note. You'll get flexible lease terms. You can choose from 36 to 60-month terms. Met their guy Danny at our company Christmas party. And let me tell you something about that guy. He oozes fairness.
And white gloves.
He does. He doesn't even have to wear them. He's the type of guy you meet and you're like, this guy seems like white glove service. Very squared away feel to him.
Yeah.
That's what I want from leasing. Fairness. It's cost-effective leasing. You got, like I said, mileage options of 10K to 30K. Huge selection. It's a very easy process. You just go, select a vehicle, do a consultation. They'll bring the vehicle to you. You sign all your paperwork there. They'll help you with your trade-in. Stem to stern service from Fairlease at fairlease.org. .org?
Fairlease Navidad. Fairlease Navidad. Fairlease Navidad. Drive now, pay later. Fairlease Navidad.
All right, now listen to me, you. You were the most wonderful man I've ever known. And there's nothing I want more right now than to make a baby with you. The thing is, we only have 20 minutes. Okay? So help me. And you just think real sexy thoughts.
Okay.
All right?
Like what?
Think of Alyssa Milano, huh? She's hot, plus her last name's a cookie.
It's her birthday today.
Which one?
Alyssa Milano.
Okay. Now, what you just heard is the portion of the show where we typically put something funny.
I thought that was hilarious.
I'm Jake Kemp.
And whenever I read Alyssa Milano's name, I think of that. I'm Blake Jones.
I was about to introduce myself. Hold on. For the first time.
No, you weren't.
Warm welcome to today's special guest host, Danny Heavy Metal Bayless.
The human wah-wah pedal.
Happy birthday to Alyssa Milano. Hopefully she is going to download this podcast later.
Yeah, it is a free episode, which is big for her. Wasn't she kind of the canary in the coal mine of Me Too? In some way, shape, or form, I feel like she was Capitol Hill, possibly even in the background of Judge Brett Kavanaugh's confirmation hearing.
I think that tracks,
Something.
Jake.
There was something.
The way I think of her when you bring her up, and yes, happy birthday to Alyssa Milano, who is what, like 40, I'm going to say 43.
You are so far off.
50?
Keep 52.
No doubt.
Yeah.
That's in my wheelhouse, bro. Well,
I mean, I don't know, bro.
It is now.
I was going to say, I feel like 43 is a little, or at least headed in the right direction.
So we all know my good buddy, Mr. Chad. Mr. Chad likes the young ladies. Mm-hmm. And more often than not, there's usually about a 20-year gap in between him and the person that he's dating. But when I first met him, he admitted to me that his first source of eroticism when he was a young man was a workout video that had a young Alyssa Milano in it, and the name of it was called Teen Steam. And he had a copy of this on VHS still.
How many moves?
In his 30s. It just goes to show that the source material that you grew up on never goes out of style, Jake.
Boy, ain't that the truth.
100%. How many times?
1988. So let's see. That would have made her.
Should've
Wow,
been
she's 16.
Oh no.
Yeah.
The whole thing's on YouTube. The VHS. Somebody.
Teen Steam is?
Yeah. It's
So he can-
45 minutes
He can
long.
trash his analog copy and just take it with him on his
Dude,
phone.
how
wherever he
1988 is it that culturally we were at a place where some fat guy, smokes a cigar in a corner office was like, I got an idea. What if we had some teens that you know about
Right.
exercise?
Yes, with leg warmers.
With a sauna on.
Uh-huh.
So they're wet.
damp. And we'll call it Teen Steam.
Teen Steam.
Yeah.
It's very
There's-
Washington
They're
Redskins.
We got one
They're in a
order.
bedroom.
One order from Terrell, Texas.
Yeah. Well, why are they in a bedroom, Blake? I don't know. Is that not where you think of teens all working out?
Blake, are you watching Teen Steam?
Yeah, I'm watching
It's
Teen
still
Steam,
images.
but it's like now that I know how old she is, like I already feel bad enough. But then there's like teddy bears in the background and
yeah.
a pink rug.
Oh, my
Of
God.
course there is.
The bed's messed up.
What was the ratio between, as far as the purchase ratio of this video, of kids that were 15, 16 that really wanted to get a good workout and 50-year-old men?
90% the one you just named.
The latter of the two?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are pretty bad looking push-ups.
Yeah, they're working the shoulders
Maybe
there,
a
Blake.
little scap push-up. Not a full. Well, Danny's here for Dan today. Dan is gone. However, I think I heard a little rustling downstairs. I think Cray Tray's here somewhere. There's a car here I didn't recognize.
Is
so.
he the new TC?
He's been the new TC for a while, and that means not only does he watch Dan's house for a handsome fee, but also he's impervious to being fired. I think the only way you lose this job is if you decide not to do it anymore. Because both of them had pretty poor performance reviews.
Yeah.
Repeated.
Trey being here now explains why the fridge didn't work when I was down there.
What do you mean? What happened? You just left it open?
No, it just wasn't working. I couldn't get water out of it.
Oh, well, we'll be hearing about this Monday, I imagine.
I'm
How do you
kidding,
mess
but-
that
I'm
up?
kidding, but it just
Okay.
seems like
Have you ever-
I'm excited to see what happens this time around.
Have either of you ever had to watch Dan's house?
Oh, definitely not Dan's. I was trying to think if I've ever
No.
done it ever.
I was just curious what the job description rundown was, what your responsibilities are when you stay here.
Well, it begins and ends with Kip and Bodie.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
So that's also been a problem. I believe last time they left, Dan's wife came home and there was piss puddles everywhere
Yep.
that had many of which had dried.
Well, that could have been TC.
Yeah, maybe this time though. Recently, it was either Trey or the dogs because he was here for that. TC broke a chair. That was it was like a family heirloom. It had been passed down. I'm serious. It was a spare chair, but it was a family chair. And he like leaned back too hard in the recliner and just splintered. One of them, TC got some heat for sleeping in Dan's bed with his now wife. Like the whole time he was here. We don't know where Trey sleeps.
That should be, delegate, or you should be told where you're allowed to
I
sleep,
agree.
right?
I agree.
You don't leave that up to the guy watching your house.
I
'cause-
agree. So there's that. There've been some plants, a lot of plants. He just turns it into a morgue, a hospice for for all of Kathy's plants.
Uh-huh.
He broke a pot,
Yeah.
I think.
I tried to glue it back together.
Yeah. Like me. Did I ever tell you guys a story about how? Did you either of you have braces?
Yeah.
I got mine in my early 20s because we were too poor to afford them. So, and I didn't want to go through my life with jacked up teeth. So once I had a job that I could afford orthodontics, I think I got mine when I was like 22, actually.
I had them, but not long enough. I had them. My top ones are pretty fine. My bottom ones are not. Hence our constant obsession with fake teeth. But I had a retainer afterward, and I would constantly lose it.
Mm-hmm. It's very common for kids to lose the retainer.
The worst case of that was I would have to take it out to eat, so it was on my lunch tray, and I threw it away with my lunch tray.
Yep.
And I don't remember, and she listens, so I have to try to be accurate about this, but either I was so worried that I was going to get in trouble, or like my mom was called and she told me to do this. Maybe I did it on my own because I was so afraid. But I went back after lunch got out, and it's just the lunch ladies in there, and I dug through every trash can post-lunch, which is the most disgusting. You'd rather be in a sewer. It's just chocolate milk and spaghetti and kid lunch just in those big plastic bags, you know? And I was just digging through all of it. Didn't find it.
No way.
Dude, it's like 50 bags of trash I had to go through. And then the other one was I broke it one time at a friend's house. I stepped on it while we were playing basketball, and I was staying the night over there. And with the help of his dad, I attempted to hot glue it back together. And I wore it like that for several months. Very, very painful. But I just glued it back together and was like, all right, this is going to just have to do for now because they've pretty well stated I'm going to military school if I lose or break this thing again.
Which was always a threat growing up.
Yeah.
A reform school.
You know, the thing about that reform school is what they should use because military school sounds too dope.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I'm playing Jungle Strike every day.
Yeah, especially if you already kind of have if you have a propensity leaning in that direction.
Yeah. Like, why not? So Trey's here, Danny's here. Dan will be back on Monday. I suppose he'll join us for picks tomorrow, the final week of picks.
Yeah.
I've decided we have to have some sort of payoff.
For sure.
It just doesn't have the juice.
Yep. Yeah, I'm with you.
Something. You know, somebody gets like trans surgery or something. You know, something topical.
Tased?
Tased? I'm down to be tased.
Well, you don't need to be incentivized to come in last. It should be a punishment of some sort.
No, I just mean I don't want to be tased, but I would sign up for that if we did it under the proper supervision. I've just been told
Chappie.
you could die. He could die. In fact, he would die. His heart's fine, but it's had its problems.
Whose?
My dad.
Yeah.
Yes, his job almost killed him. Very literally.
Raising you probably didn't help.
He had Easy Street, bro. He was 5 days a month.
Yeah.
Oh, the every other
He was the release valve.
Yeah.
He was fun
He's
time.
just taking him to Blockbuster.
CC's and Blockbuster.
Yeah,
man.
just polish off a 12-pack on Saturday night when watching my brother and I wrestle while he like kind of gambled on it.
Yeah.
Low-key.
So how old is your pop? Is he 60s or is he already?
Oh, yeah. He's...
No, I was wondering if he hadn't hit 70 yet, has he?
No, I think he's 66 or 67.
Okay, so he was in his late 20s when you were around.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, when you were the advent of Jake, he was in his late 20s. So that is the age where if you... I don't know... He was probably 30. What age were you when your parents split and then you started doing
I was 7, and he was probably like...
in his early 30s.
If that. Yeah.
Yeah. So at that age,
early 30s.
You're still, when you have your kids, a lot of it is looking at the clock, wondering when your time with them is over so you can get back to your fun life.
Yeah, yep.
And it's different if you're like, you start doing parenting as an older person, which I've done both.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a decided difference in my attitude about parenting now than there was back then, because now you realize that I accept that this is the most important thing that I will ever do in my life. There's nothing more important that I can do now other than being a dad. But at 23,
You're like, what about
when I was at
titties?
23,
What about titties?
Yeah. And I'm playing in bands and
right.
Oh, it's just, it's so hard and it's a surprise. It wasn't planned. Most aren't. But it was a different trip, and I was every other weekend dad back then. Now it's shared custody, so I have Malcolm half the time. It's a different thing, and I've talked to Josh, my oldest, about this a little bit, about kind of like, do you feel a little like I'm a different dad now than I was for you? And if you ever feel resentment, man, or you come at me, and we'll talk it out, because I probably wasn't. With the time that I had with him, I think that there was a lot of looking at the watch sometimes and wondering, God damn, is it Sunday at 7 yet, so I can make it to Clicks to go play pool?
No, dude,
with Paul.
He did it. He did his best to try to keep us entertained and make it fun, but there was definitely a feeling of, I'm sure there were a few times on Sunday at the beginning, especially like when my stepdad moved in and we were getting close to him. I'm sure there were a handful of times at the beginning of that where he drove off and it was the fucking country song, "That's my house, that's my,
Yeah.
but that ain't my truck." Like, he's like crying. But probably by like time 4, he was able to hit the Sunday specials at Broncos and Euless.
There you go.
Like for the Sunday night game.
Yes, sir.
Meet up like, fuck, here we go.
Yeah.
Back in the mix.
Yeah.
Speaking of parenting, I did something yesterday in the afternoon on Business Wednesday that we've done before. It's a big deal in Grapevine, the Christmas capital of Texas, of course. And it is legit. I forget sometimes that it is that and it's a big deal to people because I went down there for something else the other day to pick up a gift. There are people who I think travel to come to Grapevine to look at the Christmas stuff,
I believe it.
even if it's from other parts of Texas. Although the night of my daughter's and Wired Will's elementary school parade, all the dads at every elementary school do these like insane floats, and it's a big party. There were a distinctly white crowd, and there were a young Asian couple there, and they were stopping to take pictures in front of my mom's store because it's all decked out for Christmas on Main right there, and they were like blown away. You know, they clearly were not Asian Americans. They were speaking some form of an Asian language. And it was so funny, dude. Just put yourself in this situation. So all the there's dads dressed up as stormtroopers, and their float, they go all out. Like their float looks like the Death Star.
For Christmas.
For elementary school Christmas parade. There's a group of dads who are on the back playing like in a full band, like jamming Christmas songs, and your kids get to be on the float if you help build it.
Okay.
People go hard. But as part of that, one of the floats was like a Christmas circus, and that had a dad on a unicycle in like clown Christmas gear, and he was just tearing ass around the float going down the street on a unicycle. He was an Asian guy. He was the only Asian dad I saw. They thought this was the funniest thing they'd ever seen in their life.
The Asian couple?
Yes. They saw like an Asian guy on a unicycle, and they could not handle it. It'd be like if you were in like Africa or something.
Yeah.
And you're the only white couple there, and there's one white guy in this parade anywhere, and he's doing the goofiest shit you've ever seen. Like
That's
a
awesome.
unicycle on its own hilarious. So anyways, the deal yesterday was a Christmas train. There's a train out there that they set aside just for Christmas time. You're aware of this?
I'm aware of certain family members' Instagram stories.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Wife did it?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's a train station in Grapevine. They deck out the train with Christmas stuff. They run 5 of these a day for probably a month. It's $40 per person.
Of course it is.
Damn.
And
How long does it last?
An hour?
Oh, wow. Okay. So that's,
Maybe 40 minutes, and there's some stuff afterward where you can play. There's a little Christmas village. So you get on, they're singing songs. Basically, like, I'm learning that there's an outlet for gig work for theater kids to be elves and sing and like be all jolly and whatnot. So you're on the train with them. They're singing songs. They're handing out bells to wear and shake. There's a Mrs. Claus, total Roseanne.
Yeah.
Not gray hair, not a wig, just a normal looking, hefty 45-year-old white woman who was kind of dressed like a fairy, not really Mrs. Claus at all. Kind of a hocus pocus type vibe. Didn't understand it. Then there was a male and a female, probably 20s. They were elves. They were singing. And then it's going to be time for Santa Claus. They hand everybody chocolate chip cookies. Then they come around with chocolate milk. It's festive time. So we'd already taken one picture with a Santa at her school Christmas cookie decorating party. He was there. She goes and takes the picture. He's your very boilerplate Santa. White, beard, etc. So
That's your like double A for Santas.
the school?
The school.
Yeah,
I mean,
for
the,
sure.
the majors is the mall.
Big mall.
Parades, maybe. Yeah,
Yeah.
minor leagues. But I feel like the very bottom is your school.
Sure.
The majors is the Neiman Marcus downtown.
Right. Or maybe North Park or something.
Which we do every year.
So we'd already done that one. She's done Santa a couple times before. She doesn't really seem to fixate on race too much, other than she has a really good friend in her kindergarten class
I love where this is going.
who is
by the
black
way.
and was, she says things like, hey, her skin is kind of in between mine and yours. That's what she said to me. or your skin is in between mine and hers. I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, people are different, whatever. It's not a problem. But so Santa comes on, and what was the name of that actor? Black dude. I think he was in the Cosby Show, and
Theo.
he got like some criticism because he worked at like Trader Joe's, and people were like, "Look at this loser."
Was he? What's
His
her name?
name
He was the
is
boyfriend or husband.
Jeffrey Owens.
Yeah.
Black guy.
Yeah.
Glasses, beard, not really gray beard, kind of gray.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's Santa on this train. And Nora's still super excited, but she was like, he looks different. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think he's just from this angle. That's honestly what I went with.
He's an emoji on
I was like,
Daddy's
he's in the
phone,
sun.
You know?
And she's like, oh, whatever, you know. And she kind of was like, there are lots of Santas, you know. And I actually heard Isaac Harris from the Locked On Mavs podcast. I saw him there, and he was talking about it this morning. They had gone and taken a picture with the other Santa you could take a picture with at that spot. So that spot has picture Santa, old white guy, train Santa, which you can do back-to-back, middle-aged black guy.
Yeah. You got Jeffrey Wright, and you got...
And I'm just thinking, I phone a friend, a black friend, and I said to KJ this morning, I'm like, how does this work for you? Like, because what I want to know is how black parents handle this. If you have black Santa in your home, which he said he does, how do you then deal with 90% of the Santas you see being white? Because kids are going to notice, like, okay, that's a different person.
Sure.
So I don't know. He said they say that there's one main Santa, and that all the other ones you see are Santa helpers, who are like graduated elves.
Yep.
So they could be black, white, Latino, fat, whatever.
Jeez.
And yeah, I'm like, well, I don't. If we go take her to see another one, odds are he's white. I just don't. I don't know how black parents and Latino parents, I guess, deal with this to the extent that they have to.
So the kids, I guess they need to understand that you'll never meet the real dude.
That's kind of how you have to set it up.
But if you did, what color is he?
That they might follow up with that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's an interesting one. I mean, I had the incident at she never said anything about the new Little Mermaid movie. But when we were in Disneyland and we were in line to meet Ariel and Black Ariel came out, she was like, I'm out of here. We walked out of line.
Mm-hmm.
It's as soon as the Black Ariel came out.
Just couldn't.
She's like, I'm tired. I'm like, okay. We've been in line for 30 minutes. Easy there, Richard Spencer.
Oh, my God. My kid will not have anything to do with Santa. So this was...
Seems like it's a bad bit.
This
Like,
is
if I could do it over again, I would have never done it.
This is year 4, and this was the first time that we got a photo of him in proximity to Santa where he's not losing his fucking mind, crying.
That seems to be the standard.
So the first 3, he's on Santa's lap, like, why are you doing this to me? Tears, the face, and Santa's
and he's
just
black, so Malcolm's like, what is it?
No, he's a white Santa. And we always go to the just because it's kind of fun. It kind of, you feel like you're in a Christmas movie when you go to the Neiman Marcus downtown. And that's where we always go. And it's the same Santa every year so far, 4 years running. And this year was the first time that he stood about 1.5 to 2 feet from Santa. So the photo is Santa and then Malcolm socially distancing from the fat bastard.
Yeah.
You know, but he's smiling, he's happy, but it's like, no, bro, I'm not sitting on your lap. If you want to know what I want for Christmas, it's going to happen I'm going to have to yell it because I'm going to be across the room. He's not interested in sitting on Santa's lap or being touched by Santa or anything.
It's just an insane
close. It's a weird thing.
It's very, very weird. And I was glad that there was, diversity in the holiday ranks on this train, but it was also just, I don't really have an answer for you, babe. I don't know what to tell you.
I just saw a kid that had a big old jug sippy cup of Choco milk in one hand and a freaking trash can in the other that apparently he doesn't leave the house without.
Yeah. Yeah.
A trash can.
He brings a trash can with him everywhere.
It's like a dip cup for him. Trash can.
That was my day yesterday.
Santa?
Santa pictures.
Tell it.
So wife and I had a discussion because I think this is a special thing. It's a once a year bit. he's only going to do this a handful of times. We need to cherish it. She was trying to say, we don't need the digital prints. We don't need this kind of stuff. Let's just try to spend $30. And I was like, we never do this.
Yeah.
Let's go all out. Let's get everything. Walk in there. We set a time, 12:05, expecting people to be working during the week, be at school, and our plan worked to perfection. We walked in there. There was nobody. Santa was just looking at us saying, all right, come on down.
Where was this?
We went to a place in Allen.
Okay.
There's a little mall up there in Waters Creek. And walk in. Brooks is excited on the way over. He's got it down. I'm going to ask Santa for a blue car for Christmas. What are you going to ask for Christmas? I'm going to ask for a blue car for Christmas when I'm on Santa's lap. Walks in there, sees Santa, freaks out.
Like crying?
Yeah.
Or just nervous? Okay.
So we walk in there. Yeah, Santa's like, come on. And then he starts doing the kid, like, step back, step back, step back, step back. And then,
yeah,
all hell broke loose.
Did you get a photo with anywhere near Santa?
I haven't looked at him yet because I haven't calmed down from being so pissed off. But yeah, no, it's me and her, like, trying to hold him down. He is flailing away. Santa's smiling. The elves are trying to help.
Did you beat him?
Love it.
No, but didn't let him watch TV yesterday.
Because he wouldn't behave for Santa?
Blake's an authoritarian disciplinarian.
There was a lot of discussion between the wife and I, but
this makes me happy though.
Why?
Because it's at times Blake's son is pretty well behaved,
incredibly,
and mine's not. And so he, the fact that he incorporates corporal punishment has made me think like maybe he's on to something. So I like to hear when Brooks has a meltdown too, because I was faced yesterday with a similar situation to what we ran into at Jared's charity event, which is the line that wraps back and forth with the
cue
with the pull out, put it in the post, and it was about 20 minutes of
like you're trying to get into the Start Club.
Yeah, exactly. And he wants in.
You ain't on the list, man.
And so before we got on the train, there was like a 15-minute like, whoa. Do you guys believe? Do you have your believe bells? And it's two theater 20-somethings up there like popping back and forth, and I'm like, let us on the train. The kid's losing his mind. All the kids are losing their mind. But none of them quite like mine.
Yeah.
And we had that moment last night where both, wife and I looked at each other like, our kids, they seem to be the worst ones everywhere we go.
Well, at least you had help this time.
I did have help this time.
What are you going to do?
I just kind of do it.
Just let them, if they want to freaking talk to Santa, I don't care.
Yeah.
I just don't care. And you know what? The pictures of a kid losing his shit with Santa are great.
Yeah, that's true, Blake.
I love looking back at those.
I know 10 years from now we're going to laugh at it all. And
no laughing yesterday,
the
though.
Grandparents love it. They think it's cute. But for me to spend $100 on these fucking pictures that didn't turn out,
everyone has a bad time.
God,
What is better as a parent than when you're in the moment and you're sitting there and you've spent money to do something and everyone is upset? Vacation.
Yeah, I get it. But look,
any outing like that.
Going into these endeavors, you've got to manage your expectations. It's rarely, if ever, going to work out the way you envision it in your head.
But all you can think about is like, rationally, why are we doing this? Why are we doing something that everyone is upset about?
I get it.
Yeah, and that was the most exhausting part, is just like going through all these mental gymnastics of trying to spend money, trying to have a good time. He doesn't want to do it. What are we doing here? Let's just go home.
Yeah, I had a great day with Malcolm last week and spent $0. And it involved going to the post office where he thinks he's a rock star and talks to everybody. Then he wants to walk down in the strip mall to the laundromat and watch clothes tumble in the freaking dryer.
Oh, yeah.
He's obsessed with that. And then we go back to my house where they're building a dog park at the park right by my house, which is just a block away. And there's construction vehicles out there every day. We stood out there for an hour and a half, and he watched front loaders and bulldozers and backhoes do their thing. Free.
Yeah.
It was free.
Little live thrash and trash.
And we capped off the day. They're doing sidewalk repair on my street at the house across the street. We pulled up lawn chairs and watched these.
Jackhammer.
Dude.
Yeah.
Cost nothing. So, you balance it out. Look, to keep your kids entertained like that and spending money, it would cost you $300. So the trade-off is I don't mind wasting $300 on an aborted mission like Santa.
You do have
if
to
I
do
know
some balancing.
I'm
in your
living
head.
in the black here
Yeah, that's
with
true.
this.
All right, let's
Anyway.
talk some sports, Blake. Basketball, give me the ball because I'm gonna dunk it. Hey, yes, we do have some Mavs as the Cowboys are in the background for the day. We have a new sponsor, Community Mechanical. Community Mechanical, that is communitydfw.com. They're here to help you out with all of your HVAC situations. They've been out to Dan's house. They're coming out to Blake's house. They're definitely coming out to my house once things are clear, good to go. CommunityDFW.com. Their phone number, 469-667-7290. It's about to get real cold around here in January. They can come get you set. For that, they can then get you set for the summer heat. They come to your house or your company, do a full preventative maintenance in really any time of the year. Preventative maintenance customers receive a 10% discount on all parts and repairs. I met Travis out there a long, long time ago. I've known this dude for a long time. Good dude. He's a big guy. He can probably reach whatever you need in your attic with no ladder.
Yeah, he was a sit-in here. They're good DZ people that have actually gotten a little bit of inspiration from us to start their own thing. So if you like helping other subbies, this is a new business and a new client, Community Mechanical. Love preventative maintenance.
Yeah, I know you do. I know
right up my
you're
alley.
passionate about it. You're very passionate.
It's important, though.
It is.
Think
It
about
is.
this. Especially in North Texas, we're in December. One day it can be 78, and the next day 34.
You going to trust that
You're
grid?
going back and
No.
forth between your AC and your heat in a pretty quick amount of time, often days in a row, switching back and forth. You want to at least get these guys out and see how the things, is it efficiently operating? What kind of stress am I putting on this thing? That's what they do, man.
I tell you what, it's basically like a condom for your HVAC at communitydfw.com.
All right.
Hit them up. So we didn't get to talk any Mavs on Monday or Tuesday.
What are you going to talk about? Their multitude of days off in a row?
Well, that's the thing, is that I didn't feel like it was that pressing after they had the mini break because they got bounced from the tourney. But what took place over the weekend was pretty insane. They had a Sunday night game at Golden State, 143-133. I called Machine to plan out round ball talk that night, and it was like into the first quarter. And I hadn't watched any of the game yet. And he's like, this game is on Molly. I'm like, okay, let's fire it up. It was one of the most insane basketball games I've ever seen.
Such a fun watch.
Like the Warriors made, let's pull up the box score again here. The Warriors went 27 of 54 from three, and they were really never in control of the game. They made 27 threes. They couldn't miss.
Well, hell, they made what? How many in the first half?
I can pull up the exact number.
18?
Draymond was coming off the bench and playing great. It was a laser show out there. Let's see. First half, you had the Warriors go 18 of 32. The Mavericks go 12 of 25. It was just a fun basketball game. A lot of times you see really high scoring and just insane numbers, and you think, well, the defenses must be terrible. And it really wasn't that. It was just Luka going freaking bananas with almost having a 30-point triple-double in the first half. And then on the other side, Steph, Buddy Hield, Andrew Wiggins. Just a fun basketball game, and the Warriors might not be a contender, but they're a good team. And the Mavericks are, they're one of the elite teams in the league now. It was fun, man. It's a fun basketball game. Clay's inching back up a little bit.
That wasn't his first game back there, was it?
No. They played
had the
early
big-
in the season.
That's right.
Yeah, when they handed out the hats.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They got smoked.
Yeah, but he played pretty well in that game. He played pretty well in this one. I'm just I'm very over the moon about the Mavs right now.
You should be.
Like it's
That was it, dude. That was I think that was a historical night. Wasn't it the most threes combined made in an NBA game in history?
yes.
Is that right?
You know what? I'd have to look if it was
I
first
think
half or
no. I think it was for the game.
I don't know how it wouldn't be. Clay went 7-11 from three. If you throw out his first game back where he was definitely still going through it, he's on a 5-game stretch here where he's averaging 20 points, over 51% from three. Like, if he's going to do that for any stretch of the season, they're going to be a problem. Their defense is awesome right now. They're really, really good team. They should probably be a couple of wins better in the standings.
The Clay thing is huge, though, because, look, you kind of knew that there was going to be that, like, entering into dating life after being in a long-term relationship or a 15-year marriage, and then you are suddenly find yourself single, and how that awkward transition period before you kind of settle into your new identity. I think that's what's taken him the most time. It's just because, man, he's been joined at the hip with Steph for so many years. It was hard for anybody to realistically think that he was going to come in here from day one, just be the perfect fit. I think those things take time.
Yeah, I guess I thought, like, oh, this guy's a shooter, he'll just shoot. But you forget about everything that goes into that, whether it's where the backdrop of the arena.
Sure, where he's getting
even little things like that.
And his teammates knowing exactly where he likes the ball, where he likes to receive the ball, how he likes to receive it. I mean, all of those little tiny things that most people don't think of are factors into making someone as comfortable as possible in a new environment.
They're really good. There's no reason why they shouldn't be considered a contender. I don't think there's really anything they need at the deadline. I wrote an article about PJ this week, dmagazine.com/sports, or click on sports. Hell, I don't know how you do it. But he remains with only one loss on his ledger since he came back, because he missed the Oklahoma City loss where they got out-rebounded badly. He's so underrated, man.
I kind of love
so underrated.
How Dinwiddie's only good here. You know?
Yeah, Dan brought that up the other day. Like, how is it possible this guy couldn't get minutes in L.A.? And he's almost done enough already this season to justify bringing him back.
Yeah.
Because of the games that he played when Kyrie was out or when Luka was out.
Monster
he can
games.
Legitimately run your offense. And now he's throwing lobs occasionally after – the first time he was here, that was a definite work in progress, because that's not a guy that lacks for confidence. But yeah, I'm so excited. I'm so excited for the Cowboys to be done, and for people to really fully fall in love with the Mavericks. We did have some Mavericks news. We know that St. Marshall. We knew that St. Marshall was retiring as CEO and president. This news came out.
The smoke has cleared finally, Jay.
Yeah, and I want to talk about that.
The smoke that emitted from Pants DJ's crotch has finally cleared, so sin can go away.
They cleaned up all the condoms that fell out of his pant leg.
Mm-hmm.
That's my favorite part of that story. People are like, he was watching porn. He was jacking off at work. I'm like, that's super gross, but why did he have a condom in his pants? And why did it fall out of his... Why? Like, that's the most... like, clown move ever. He just starts pulling them out and they just keep coming out. Whoop, 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 like a hot dog links. Like, why did he have condoms falling out of the bottom of his pants? It doesn't make...
He could have had a hole in his pocket.
They were like open, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, then you know what he was doing.
Was he just wearing it all the time and then just coming?
Yes, he was wearing them, watching porn at work, releasing... And then there's no
like a dick diaper.
Well, yeah, exactly. There's no awkward pant front stain for coworkers to point at and jeer.
It's all so weird, man. It was not that long ago, and it all started with a lady we worked with. But anyways, the Sid thing unfolded in a somewhat strange way, because a few months ago it was announced that she was retiring, but included in the stories about her retirement were the idea that she had talked to Patrick Dumont, the new governor, about a new deal, and she had decided to retire, which is kind of a fancy way of saying you're getting let go. Like, they weren't going to bring you back if you wanted to come back. So if you said, hey, I'd like to still work here, and they said, let's talk about a contract, and then you say, all right, they say, well, there's not one. Then you basically got fired. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, it's not firing. Like, McCarthy's not going to get fired. He's just not going to be here. So it's tricky, because I do think she's very professional. The people I know that work closely with her say she's a very good boss, that people like to work for. She gets things done. And it's basically kind of racially coded the term DEI hire. Like that's basically what you say when you think like, oh, somebody only got hired because of this part of their demographic makeup. But kind of in like the truest sense of the word, she was a DEI hire from the standpoint of she was brought in because the organization was lacking so severely from a valuing diversity and inclusion standpoint.
Well, this wouldn't have
So
happened.
when people say DEI hire, I think they usually just mean like, oh, this person's not white.
I don't think any change would have been made unless all that stuff went public.
Right, and they weren't going to hire Rick Welts. That's his name, right?
Mm-hmm.
From if things were going well, like after Pan's DJ. And I do know that they had a pretty toxic frat house environment beforehand, and that she's cleaned that up, and it's a pretty solid workplace now, very solid workplace. But it's still odd to me that we had to act like it's basically the same as when they hired Rick Carlisle. Like, oh my God. Can you imagine what she'll do for this thing? It's like, oh, well, cover fire probably. I mean, that's gonna be a big part of it, and everyone has to trip and fall all over themselves. And I even heard it in this press conference. Like I don't know how much of that is in your audio, Blake, but they act like, oh my god, like this is a legend.
Yeah,
It's Scent.
There was a ton of questions of like, yeah, what have you learned from Scent, and what has Scent meant to this? In fact, I'll play one.
Well, let's first start with this. Rick Welts has taken over. He was.
Let's get to know Rick.
Rick Welts. I definitely know the name because I would watch the Warriors championship parades on the off chance that Draymond was going to be blackout, and he was always featured at those. He was with the Warriors starting in 2011. He'd done PR. He's been around the league forever. He's kind of, if you know one of the guys on that level who's not Scent, you know him. Big deal. But I thought it was kind of interesting when I saw they hired him because, and again, you can 100% be somebody who's a conservative and backs Republican views and also be very friendly with different communities. But I know that Patrick Dumont's mother-in-law is one of the largest Republican donors, though that's typically more focused on like foreign policy stuff in Israel with Miriam Adelson. But Rick Welts is a pretty out front, prideful gay guy. I mean, he was known for like, I don't know if he marshaled or whatever. He's a big part of like pride parades in San Francisco. So, DEI hire, or do you only say that one? You know what I mean? Like he's got a different thing outside of the convention as well, but
yeah,
he's also super successful in the NBA.
So my take on this was they hire Scent, and remember they called her the CEO, and we thought, well, what is she even going to do? And then we thought it was not ironic, but just the timing of Patrick Dumont comes in, a legit businessman, and within a few months is like, okay, yeah, Scent's going to be done at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Because it's like a legit business person comes in and sees like, well, what do you do here?
Yeah, and she came from the world of HR, right? So, I mean, she was really good at that, at dealing with employees. But as far as business, and in this case, I think we're talking almost exclusively about a new arena.
Correct. Yeah. So, yeah, Scent, okay, thank you for cleaning up the condoms. You know, your time is over here.
For installing like a software blocker.
Sure.
running a shop broom through the offices to get all the rubbers off the floor.
Yeah, so we're going to bring in an actual person with CEO experience. And, yeah, the big topic during the press conference was he basically helped plan and execute the building of the Chase Center, which is insane.
If you followed that process along, you know, I'm sure there's some from the East Coast that might be more involved, but I don't know that there's an American sports arena that is more of a, how the fuck did they pull that off when I see it? It is in San Francisco. There's no land.
There's no room.
Yeah, that was his point.
And so I remember thinking of reading about all the code stuff they had to go through, and obviously that's a highly regulated city from, you know, red tape and bureaucracy. And I just, like, when I see something like, I'm like, even when New Yankee Stadium was built, I didn't understand that. But San Francisco is a different level. It's on the water, you know, and if you can pull that off, I'm pretty sure you can pull off Irving.
Yeah.
or Frosker? No, Frisco or Prosper.
Frosker.
Yeah, so that was, the big topic was getting the Chase Center built and, the future of the NBA. They, without saying as much, they talk a lot about what the Mavericks basketball and specifically what going to a Mavericks game is going to be like in 10 years. Because it won't be like a normal basketball experience. It's going to be gambling. It's going to look like Vegas there in Irving. And this guy's going to help get it done.
That's wild, man. It's one of those things that we know is going to happen, but until you see it, you have no idea what that's going to look and feel like. And that's where, like, your kid is going to grow up watching basketball.
It's a pretty big bet to hedge that it's just fait accompli that there will be gambling, though.
Yeah.
That's such a gamble,
Yeah, and I
There's
think
no certainty that that's going to happen.
No, but I think Cuban, part of why he sold is he could see that these people may have the funds and the connections to get it done.
They definitely do. It's a casino family.
Yeah. So that's what, it's all building to. One thing that CEOs love to do or like to speak through is symbolism. And
maybe lay down on the floor. Different perspective from down here.
Sure. Along those lines, Sint brought a prop.
Yeah.
I am so excited that I am passing this baton to a friend. And this is a baton that we gave all of our employees in August.
She has a real baton.
Where do you even get a baton?
That's not...
you go to Dick's and the relay section?
Or even sell them there? The relay section.
It says it real big on a banner.
Relay.
They have one thing. A baton.
One hurdle.
Yeah, they got their hurdles. Build your own hurdle. No, she brought a baton, and then it goes for. Apparently, this was like a team building exercise.
I am so excited that I am passing this baton to a friend, and this is a baton that we gave all of our employees in August when we laid out the theme: many runners, one team, ready, set, go.
Like little
now,
fellas?
earlier we actually did our track and field handoff thing. Okay.
And then they actually they did the exchange. Now
I think we should do more team building exercises, Blake.
No,
write that down.
I'm not writing that down because I'm not doing it. He hands it to him, and he does the runner. He turns and gets it from behind.
did he yell out stick?
No, that's
because then that's what we always had to say.
I've never participated in a sanctioned relay race.
I haven't either.
Once
I was thinking you had to.
Yeah, you had to.
There's no team.
Yeah.
So this guy's a big deal. He was with the Warriors during their run, built the Chase Center. He's coming here to do big things. I don't know if he had any history with Sint. I can't imagine he did. But I thought this answer was funny by him.
What's the biggest lesson you've learned from Sint, Marshall?
Cunnilingus?
Yeah, it's like when they asked Obama his favorite White Sox player or Trump his favorite Bible verse.
Yeah.
It's like, it's so many.
I like them all.
She taught me a lot.
It's like Sean Bass in a Carlisle interview.
She showed me how the coffee maker works.
When are upper management types going to realize that those types of props and antics, that every single person in the room is just internally rolling their eyes? That is their
football coaches too.
That is their attempt at creativity.
Yep.
Yeah. Look at this idea I have. Why don't you go crunch some numbers, you dildo? Good God.
That is kind of like I know that I don't understand business, but it seems like a lot of these jobs don't really have to exist.
Mm-mm.
You think?
So, I mean, I understand getting a new arena built there's a lot to sort through there. So having somebody who's done it before, I suppose, is a pretty big job. But sometimes you just think about it and you're like, well, what do you do every day? Well, I send some emails and there are phone calls and sometimes a lunch. Just in general, what I've learned over the last year, guys, is too much talking. There's just so much talking in building and running a business. And it's like you get done with it, and 90% of it, you're like, why did we need to do that?
Right.
Why did we need to do that? Because we're just going to do this again next week and get 5% closer.
I'll tell you why you need it. Synergy.
Yeah. What I'm saying is the entire economy is a house of cards.
Well, there's a reason the cliche that kind of was born from
an email.
From the COVID era. This I went to a meeting that should have been an email.
Yeah.
It's largely true.
So Rick Welts, though, you think he's met Luka? I mean, he obviously knows Clay.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if Luka has a lot of time for these knuckleheads. But they did talk about the importance of, because the ratings came up. I think that's a big deal to those in the brass. But they're going to try to market it as an international game and do something special there in Irving, I guess. But there's so much business speak in this stupid thing.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
To backtrack for a second on what you were saying, what do these people do? The reason that the email becomes a meeting is so they can say to the people that are above them, to show them this is what I do. Hey, we had a meeting. I got these guys in line.
Yeah.
It's all taken care of, Bill.
That's all it is.
Yep. Okay, good.
Stay on them.
Stay on them. I know you're doing a great job. That just it qualifies their existence to make a lot of fucking money and have their title. But yeah,
I don't know exactly.
They're just like us, Jake. They're all winging it.
I don't know what the guy does exactly when he wings it, but I do know that despite the fact that the owner's mother-in-law or the governor's mother-in-law is funding a religious proxy war, they do kind of seem to have their ducks in a row from a structure standpoint in a way that, I mean, even the biggest fan of Cuban would have to admit.
Oh, yeah.
This is night and day. This is like getting your house in order. You do this, you do this, you do this, and there's no bleed over. You know, Cuban was the GM basically. But they had nominal GMs over the time. They had Donnie. They'd try to bring in Gerson Rosas once upon a time, Blake, who didn't even make it through the summer. He was supposed to be the co-GM. They've tried stuff like that. You know,
Harala Bob,
the guy from Utah, Dennis Lindsay. But now it's like, it's Nico and Finley, and there's where the money comes from. Her son is runs it or oversees it, and then Rick Welts runs it.
Yeah.
It's a clear delineation. And I the upshot of it for me is I hope they're just considered an extremely legit, attractive, cool franchise for the rest of my life. Because that's what you have to be in the NBA. That's the only way you keep a guy like Luka from going to California or New York. You can't turn into like San Antonio. You have to be cool, which is kind of hard to do if you're Dallas. But they're back at it tonight. Danny informed me there's no Luka tonight.
SI reported it early this morning that he's got a heel issue, and I also read in that same article. Now, this may have changed. I don't know. But then it said Kyrie is questionable.
Right shoulder soreness.
Probably will play.
Very weird to me, given that they haven't played in a while. It seems not good.
And the fact that Luka, 45, and he triple-doubled in that game?
I believe so. Yeah, 45, like 16.
I looked up
45, 13, 11.
Mainly because he was nearing it, but 50-point triple-doubles. He's had one.
Really?
Yeah. It puts him in the top 5, I believe. Do you know who has the most? 50-point triple-doubles. Who would you think has the most? And it's not the Big O.
I was going to say, your first answer is Big O. So it's not – I don't think Russ ever scored quite that much. Jokic?
No, not that new of a player, but very modern era for sure.
Duncan?
No, newer than that.
Tell me.
The beard.
Really?
Yeah, Harden's done it 5 times.
I kind of forget about James Harden sometimes.
Right?
You guys are it's like
a lot.
Kind of just doing stuff. And
another fun, they were talking about how like Steph is the all-time free throw percentage guy, and I think he's around 91. And I believe Kyrie is somewhere around 88, 89, like 88.8 or something like that for his career going into the game on the 15th. And I just decided to test out ChatGPT's mathematics skills. Mm-hmm. And I asked ChatGPT, how many consecutive free throws would Kyrie Irving have to make to reach 92%? And you would think what? Consecutive, without a miss. How many would he have to make?
I have no idea how many he's taken. I'm bad at the 100.
100 to make to.
I have no idea.
Okay. Kyrie Irving would have to make. Hang on, let me scroll back up here. This is all my triple double stuff. Okay. Oh my God, it was like almost, I think, like 3,000. Whoa. Yeah, it's crazy. Just because every attempt counts against your overall percentage. Yep. No, I'm sorry. 1,376 going into the game on the 15th to get his free throw percentage to 92, and that's without a miss. 1,376 free throws in a row without a miss, just to raise his percentage by 3.5 points.
Steph's that guy.
Yeah.
That guy, pal. All right, Blake. Up next. We don't have an open for this, do we?
No, but before we get to that, I'd like to say thank you to our sponsor, Tito's Handmade Vodka, distilled from the first legal distillery in Texas, founded by sixth-generation Texan Bert Tito Beveridge. Tito's is American-made at its best. Since selling the first case in 1997, Tito's has come in a standard bottle with a modest paper label, so all you pay for is the high-quality vodka inside. Simple, smooth, and mixes with anything. Tito's is America's favorite vodka for a reason. 6 times distilled till it's just right and naturally gluten-free. Tito's is a high-quality spirit made for the smoothest martinis and the best Bloody Marys beyond the bottle. Tito's has gained a reputation for giving back, teaming up with nonprofits around the world to serve its communities and do good for dogs. It is the vodka for dog people after all. Make your next cocktail with Tito's and learn more at titosvodka.com. Distilled and bottled by 5th Generation Incorporated, Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume. Distilled from corn. Copyright 2025. Crafted to be savored responsibly. Thank you, Tito's.
Oh yeah, wait a minute, Uncle Hotmail. Hey, Uncle Hotmail. Uncle Hotmail, look at me. Is there an email in your box for me?
All right, we have Minnie. Is that me or you? What was that?
I don't know.
A couple of them follow-ups here. One comes to us from Danny Jeans.
It might have been my vape sizzling into the microphone.
It might have been. It does that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Danny Jeans, he was here as a sit-in. He's an airline pilot. He lived in the same house as me in college. I can't remember if it was before or after me, but he lived in the same house, which I believe is legendary house, which I believe has now been burned down.
Legendary house.
It really was. So he emailed in on something that I brought up on Monday's show. A text dot sign or billboard that I saw for public safety. You'll see, particularly over in Fort Worth, 121, 183 headed into downtown. They have a rotating STD PSA, mm-hmm. And they were hilarious because they were disgusting, and they would be drawn. They would try to maybe get a little creative with it, like it would say, Be aware of the syphilis tsunami.
Whoa!
And it would be like a big, really? It would be a wave, and I'm like, is that a wave of discharge?
Jesus.
Or it'd be, don't be a goner with gonorrhea. Mm-hmm. It'd be just a huge billboard. This one said, the one I saw recently said,
it's like they're messaging to guys going over to fight in Vietnam. This is like 2024, man.
Headed to a strip club at Stop 6. True. Kind of the same thing. This one said 1 in 4 hot car deaths are a child left in a hot car. And I was super confused by that.
Seems like that number would be higher.
It seems like it would be all.
Yeah.
I couldn't really figure out the other 3 hot car deaths.
Are they counting animals too?
Don't know. But Danny said, I'm not sure if you remember me from the sit-in. I'm a pilot. Last week I had an overnight in Buffalo. And while in the hotel van, we passed the exact same sign. I, of course, was dumbfounded who the other 3 out of 4 were dying in hot cars, especially because we were in Buffalo.
That's true. Right.
In the winter.
Yeah. Do you think they have a cold car death problem there?
I mean, stands to reason.
Let's see here. This one's for Blake. This comes to us from Joel. Today, a friend of our wife, was at our house, was yapping about going to a concert this weekend. She said it was Lindsey Sterling, at which point I interjected, "Oh, the violinist." My wife was stunned and silent for the first time in our marriage while a friend responded.
Okay. Already this guy said that when his wife speaks, it's yapping.
Yeah.
And then he says the only time she doesn't, it's the first time she's ever been silent in their marriage.
Honeymooners?
Yeah.
Should we review an episode of The Honeymooners?
Yeah.
You're familiar?
Yeah, the
To the moon.
inspiration
Yes.
for King of Queens.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Just subtract the domestic violence?
Yeah, I guess so.
Or the threat of domestic violence. I don't think he actually
That was
ever,
a part of it?
Oh,
Oh, my
dude,
God,
it was
yeah.
the threat of it. I mean,
Yeah.
if Alice ever got out of line, he'd ball up his fist.
One of
and,
these,
I'll give you one of these to the moon. It's going to send you to the moon.
He's going to punch her so hard she goes to space.
She goes 30,000 feet.
That's right.
And
All
touches
30.
the moon.
And she's like, "Oh, you're so silly. Don't beat me." She started silent while her friend responded. After a while, my wife asked, "How the F did you know that?" I could not keep up the pretense. I know nothing about music and explained there's only one reason I've ever heard the name Lindsey Sterling. So
That's you, Blake.
Yeah.
And he adds, "If you guys ever need an expert on conveyor systems, I am
Interesting.
I am your man."
Put that one in your back pocket. Blake, does Lindsay have a Christmas album?
Oh, dude, you're gonna hear it. We've been jamming it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
You're
yeah?
gonna hear it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's what we've been using for
She just
Christmas
made
music.
a couple, but she released a new one this year.
Okay.
Well, I say
one.
a new one, and she's playing Christmas songs from 200 years.
She's not
but
writing new, fresh, original
No.
Christmas songs
No,
for the
not,
electric violin.
No, not Christmas Eve is Skibbity or
Now,
something
did you-
like that.
Stop knowing that word.
Does your wife like Lindsay?
Not really.
She doesn't. Does she get the allure for you? Does she understand you?
I try not to mix those two together.
Uh-huh.
I think Lindsay is more of my private time. I don't need my wife.
And you really
knowing
like the
about
music.
that.
You just don't want to bone this broad. You really, really just love the music. You don't just find her
Oh, I mean-
you don't eroticize her.
both.
I mean, if we passed in the street, I'd offer to buy her a coffee or something. Yeah,
Okay,
I'd
so
find
you-
her attractive.
Okay, so
but-
if she looked like
What was that British? What was
Roseanne.
that British lady from American Idol? Who was, by the way, a Roseanne?
yeah,
What was her name? Kate something? Or is that just generic?
I don't remember.
You talk. All Google fat British American Idol lady.
But if she looked like Roseanne, would you listen to her music?
I think so, because I honestly started listening to her music before I knew what she looked like.
Okay, you know what? I respect you for that.
So, no, it actually wasn't until pretty recently that I discovered that she was hot, which, of course, blew my mind.
Yeah, I bet.
Well,
I see a lot
hit
of
the lottery.
like she had a TikTok or something the other day where she's changing costumes in like 10 seconds.
Yeah, that's
Like quick
that's
change.
spread.
That's all it took, Blake.
If you're a fan of Lindsay, you kind of have already known that.
Oh yeah, I love being in that
Seen-
space that you're in
seen
right
her
now.
in person.
How did you see
I
her
had
on
Dude Ranch.
How'd you see her on TikTok? Do you follow her now too?
No, it just ended up on Twitter. I'm not
Yeah.
even on the talk.
No, it's spread. It's like costume change in 35 seconds or something, and she's running behind stage and changes and back out there. But she's just talented like that.
Susan Boyle.
That's Susan Boyle. That's right.
And it's funny, I just looked this up. So
Voice of an angel.
The New York Post is historically pretty uncouth in their phrasing, but even if you rewind like 25 years or 15 years before woke, the headline of this article from the night that she was on American Idol is just "Fat Lady Sings."
Oh my God.
That's good.
And it says "Boil over, frumpy singing sensation Susan
Wow.
Boyle." Yeah, from Britain's Got Talent, I guess. So, anyways, yeah, she looked like Susan Boyle, who is a Roseanne.
Yeah, maybe not. I don't know.
Do you want to do one?
I've got one. I'll get to the author in just a second, but it says new Dexter original Sin dropped. It's pretty great. It makes you excited right off the bat, which I've decided I'm not going to watch, even though I think Dexter is my all-time favorite TV show. But
You're not gonna watch the prequel series?
no, because the last thing they put out was not good.
Well, what
And
was,
I- like,
what was
I-
the last thing? The only thing I remember suffering through that final season where Michael C. Hall walked into the ocean.
Yeah, came back as a lumberjack.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, what?
yeah.
Yeah, his sister was in a coma. She got shot because he didn't kill somebody. It's like very like.
What started as
Does this show have aliens?
Do I need to get into this with you?
This show started out, and for the first handful of seasons, I really was dug in. It took a real soap opera turn after that for the last.
Is he a ghost?
No.
So he pushes his sister into the ocean to finally kill her, to put her at peace, and then he decides, I need to end it too. Drives his boat straight into a hurricane. It goes black, and then the girl he was sleeping with and his son get off the boat in like Costa Rica where they were supposed to unite, and then she never gets a phone call from Dexter. She kind of knows what happened, and then it just like goes to black again. Then Dexter comes back as like a lumberjack. Apparently he had survived the hurricane thing in Miami.
I regret the last 60 seconds of this podcast.
Okay, well,
I feel like I should owe.
No,
I got
keep
30
going.
seconds more. Then they do
I like it when Jake feels regret.
Then they do another. It's not a season of Dexter. It's a spinoff.
It's kind of a trend lately.
But then it comes back. Dexter's like in Maine or something, and his son finds him. Somehow his son was able to track him down. And then this spin. It seems like Dexter's son has some of Dexter's dark qualities.
Okay.
So now Dexter has to find a way to like
Ken Griffey
shape him.
Jr.
Yeah, shape him into not murdering people. But then they have to team up together and kill this guy who's like a menace to society.
Okay, that's ridiculous.
And then at the end, Dexter's son kills him, which I hate.
Wait, Dexter's son killed Dexter?
Yeah, which is
shit.
like the Dexter character arc had been taken on. He had taken down all of these people, and then it's his own son that takes him out. That really got to me. So I decided I wasn't going to take in any more Dexter. I'm already mad enough. But now people are saying that this is great. By the way, this is signed by Chase Brown, hyphen the Bengals running back. So that's great that Chase Brown is a subby and listens to our show.
Yeah, I think probably it's somebody fooling with you a little bit after you had me prepare to interview the coach who never punts, and it was just a guy who also had the very generic name Kevin Kelly. Guy walked in, I was like, what the you look like you punt. I've been deceived.
And all he did to deceive me was just put never punt in his email signature. I thought, oh my God, it's him.
Never punt.
So I had a question yesterday. I don't remember how we were talking about being stabbed. Blake said that's the worst way possible to go.
To me.
I don't remember how it came up, but I just put out there, no definitive answer, just something I've thought about. Is a heterosexual female more prepared for the idea of being shanked than a man because they routinely are penetrated as part of their intimacy? And I have two emails for you. The first one is
your thoughts.
You're amazing that you would even think that that's a.
It honestly, this makes total sense.
Why did that even enter your brain?
Because you're thinking, like, what does it feel like for something to just go in my body? I don't know, but half the world does.
Yeah, but there's a special space made to be penetrated.
I'm not saying it feels awesome. I'm saying, are any of them briefly like, oh, like that? Like,
a loving, warm, soft flower that's ready to be penetrated. Not your skin opened up by a freaking blade, man. That's
Anna Kay, who works in the medical field with animals, but we'll take it. She said penetration being stabbed. We would have a better idea what it's like from period pains more than from sex. So she says that the period pain, that's like kind of a type thing. She also wanted to point out that Celine Dion is greatness, and she saw her in Vegas. I said yesterday, I just don't understand. I don't.
Right.
She doesn't really have hits. Got a couple.
The Titanic song was massive.
It's talking about like a 40-year career here, though. And it's like, I know 2 or 3 of them. Cody said, I have thought the exact same thing about women being familiar with the sensation of being stabbed. It makes total sense, and you were wrong for being dismissed so quickly by Blake and Mike, and now Danny. Thanks for discussing the important questions that need to be answered, because there's no chance I'm asking my wife this. I wish you would have, but
certain males are accustomed to being stabbed.
I know.
Or penetrated, if you will.
So that's why I said heterosexual. It could apply. Okay. And a little like down to the end of the first third of your finger, that doesn't count. That's child's play.
Yeah.
That's a little.
That's just taking things up a notch slightly.
That's Saturday.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do birthdays if you're done.
Sure. Oh, here, real quick. Dang it, I'm gonna have to pull this back up. We never played the Doug Townsend fantasy guide, did we?
No.
Did you listen to it?
No.
So this comes to us from. I know he didn't put his name on here, but Dear Piper of the Punani and Vulva Vigilantes, I guess that's us. Mm-hmm. He paid Doug Townsend to do their fantasy football lineup.
Okay.
He sent this after Brandon Aubrey was talking to us about how he did the fantasy football lineup for someone on Cameo. It's like 5 minutes long, and he really didn't prepare anything, Doug. He just kind of rambles, but here's the end of it. Doug Townsend, our the official used car salesman at that time of the Dumb Zone. Of course, now we'd like to direct you to Fairlease. Yeah. But he got famous on TikTok for just roasting people.
Anyway, so, yeah, if I fucked all that up, I'm sorry. It's hard to do fucking drafts, but thank y'all for fucking doing the Cameo. I hope y'all have a great fucking season. We just did ours last night, and, not that you care or anybody else cares, but I refuse to do this with any social media homos. So not that other social media people are gay. I just don't care about them. But anyway, I like normal people. I hope y'all have a great fucking season. It's awesome seeing friends still sticking together and doing this shit. So if y'all need anything, come fucking holler. And hey, Commissioner, change your fucking name. You sound like a fucking moron. Come holler.
Okay, yeah. That's our quarterly check-in with Doug Townsend on Cameo. Hopefully that's going well for him.
Damn.
Fueled by drinks, possibly.
Possible.
Yeah, or just being from Louisiana.
Yeah.
Hey, you sweet bastards. Please wish my son Henry a happy belated birthday. His leaders are Mother Kim's Tamale Ladies and Pinchers the Korean. Adrian,
Pinchers.
Day 1 DF number 570.
Henry. Incredibly strong name.
Yeah.
Any era.
Yeah.
Stays winning.
Even the nickname is pretty strong.
Henry was on my list.
Hank. Yeah.
Dear Fallopian Fuhrer, I'm writing to you today in hopes that I can get a birthday shout out. Today is my 43rd birthday. No stupid jersey number arithmetic. Why am I writing my own DZ birthday request? Because my asshole DF buddy Adrian is too chicken shit to write about vaginas, and he critically acclaimed show The Boys to get my shout out in. I may have to wake up myself in that special way, too. My leaders are Jake's seductive middle-distance stare picture in the Sarah Hepla Booze article. So much courage and so much sexiness, and Blake's happy baby pose. Love you boys to the moon and back. Bring back my Joey DF Beto.
Bring back my Joey.
BJ, today is my Meta World Peace birthday. Tell Dan I dab after each piss.
Why is that so funny to me?
Because Dan dabs. Way less Sarah Hepla. If you guys ever need an expert on having nothing just to end an email, I'm your man. Lovingly, Nick Ruiz. And finally, dear guardian of the Gunt, I want to wish a happy birthday to Matthew Emerson. Don't know if he was woken up in that special way, but it's his Dirk birthday, so he should be woken up with anal beads based on the statue. My Pig and Front Yard Boxing are his leaders. He only reads the opening to Sarah Hepla's book. This is from Dungy.
Dungy?
That's what it says.
All right, well, coming up in the back half of the show, we're going to do a little We Watched It So You Don't Have To with the Aaron Rodgers documentary on the Dumb Zone.
The Dumb Zone.
We were texting for a while, and then he was like, okay, come see me. So I got my car, and I drove all the way to Westlake, and it was like behind Cheesecake Factory in some weird like development parking lot. And so he texted me when I was on my way there. He's like, you have to leave your phone in the car. And I was like I was kind of sketched out. I was like, if this really isn't him, I have to leave my phone in the car.
Yeah, you're going to be raped and murdered.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But so I left it in the car, turned the car off, walked into like his big like SUV, like tinted windows and everything. And I like just opened the door and looked, and I was like, oh, this is really him. Uh-huh. And I was like freaking out a little bit, and then went from there.
All right, so Shay went from there. You get into the SUV.
Mm-hmm.
You get in the front, the back. Where are you?
I got in the front.
Yeah.
And so he's like, "Okay, are we gonna do this or not?"
You're listening to The Dumb Zone.
Today's episode of The Dumb Zone brought to you in part by Early Bird CBD. I'm an Early Bird fan myself, but I don't have to take drug tests. So if you do not want to turn to Early Bird for your CBD. It's got THC in it. It's got the real deal. The real deal. 2.5 milligrams of THC.
It's the legal dose.
It's the exact right amount. You really can have it all. It's Austin-based. They'll ship it to you. And right now, if you go check them out at earlybirdcbd.com, you can use the promo code DumbZone, and you'll get 20% off. So go check them out right now. These are a nice way to take the edge off. Maybe after you get the fam down at night.
Good way to see a concert.
Great way to see a concert.
It's
fantastic.
Good way to watch a British espionage series on Netflix.
You know what? Find something it's not good with.
Yeah.
Find something it's not good with other than like heavy machinery.
Right. You don't want to do that. You don't want to go driving.
Earlybirdcbd.com. Promo code's DumbZone.
Hey, you sweet bastard.
Yes?
Take the edge off tonight with some Early Bird.
Oh.
Early Bird, make me feel so good.
God.
Early Bird, just like I knew you would.
Yep.
That's another satisfied customer.
Another. Did he pay full price? No way.
So I
use the code, bro.
I worked the Frisco Bowl the other night.
You'll do that.
Don't know if you took in any West Virginia and Memphis.
I did not.
You worked it?
Yeah.
What are you done with football?
I don't know, dude.
Football responsibilities?
I don't know. Their engineer decided to take an early vacation, overlapped with the bowl game.
Sounds to me like he decided to take an early bird vacation.
Could have.
I didn't even set him up for that.
Wow.
I'm that clever.
So, yeah, I just decided to help him out. Obviously, they paid me. But these bowl games hand out swag and gifts and what have you. It was put on by Scooters Coffee.
The coffee company? Okay.
Yeah. So instead of pouring Gatorade on the winning coach, they poured cold brew.
They didn't want to go hot coffee.
No.
Get sued like that lady who burned her pussy for McDonald's coffee.
Jesus.
It's true. Have you never seen that documentary?
Yes.
No.
It's insane, dude.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Because like when I was a kid growing up
just that word is so...
It's a medical term. When I was a kid growing up in, a pretty small government conservative family, I thought that story was grifter. Like some ambulance chaser lady got burned a little bit, had a little sore and wanted $50 million. Then you see the images from court and it destroyed her entire lower half. She's like an old lady.
Ooh. They all have real thin, translucent skin anyway.
Yeah, they're reverting back to their reptilian form.
Can't defend against a
but they got
hot steaming cup of joe.
Especially McDonald's.
Yeah.
They made them make it colder after that, actually, Blake.
They really did something about that?
Dude, yeah. Like, they burned this lady nearly to death, and it cost them a lot of money.
Gross. Anyway.
They burned her pussy, Blake.
The Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl.
Burnt pussy.
So you walk into your radio room, and they had these 4 bags, little gift bags by Scooters. There's a Scooters Frisco Bowl little cup. There's a Scooters big old cookie in there. There's a Scooters Coffee little medal, just shit to give you.
Somebody called 4 Imprint.
Yeah, basically, yes. There's a little bag of Scooters coffee grounds in there, and then there were 2 Red Bulls. There was a regular Red Bull and sugar-free, and that was your bag. So there were 4 in each radio suite, and then they gave you another one when you walked in, when you picked up your credential. And so the reason I love this bowl, Danny, is most normal people don't care about this bag, but I do.
Yeah.
I like coffee, and I like Red Bull. And better yet, I like cookies.
I like cookies.
So
big old cookies, apparently.
Typically what I do after the game is I go to each one of the radio suites and get all the leftover stuff. And this year I had a pretty good haul.
How'd you do?
I took home 31 Red Bulls.
That's $100 or more in value right there.
6 bags of coffee, 4 cookies, and 2 platters of cake balls.
Why are there so many Red Bulls left over?
People just don't take them.
People didn't want them. And so I just grabbed their big bag and I took all this crap home, and I got a year's worth of Red Bull.
I don't think I've ever had like a Red Bull by itself. I've done what they make shots with them, or they used to, like Red Bull and vodka.
Yeah.
I think I've done that a couple times just because somebody ordered them, but I don't think I've ever had a real energy drink.
I'll ride the bull on you.
Yeah,
it's good.
Yeah.
My strategy would have been, because this is prime early 2000s. Fresh into radio dingo, and was a freaking raccoon for shit like that. But it had to make sense for me, and being a big fan of coffee, what I would have done is taken my swag bag, emptied it out, kept the bags of coffee, and went around before anybody even got there and stolen all of the ground coffee.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know that it came equipped.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, look at this cool bag I got. If nobody has coffee, they're none the wiser. And guess what I am? A guy that has free coffee for like a year at my house.
I set up all the equipment the day before, and I went into each of the radio rooms and just took 1 bag.
Smart.
Because there's 3 left, so now everyone assumes, oh, they gave us 3 bags.
Exactly.
But I actually had 4 in my
You're
car.
a psychopath.
It's called continuity. You want to make sure that it's always the same. Because if you forget one, it's like, hang on.
Right. Something's
mine,
fishy.
Yes, mine has coffee. And Dingu is really awake. Something's wrong here.
Did you have to make like tons of trips to your car?
No, I got it all in one.
How did you get 32 Red Bulls in a backpack?
I found a way.
Yeah.
I had equipment bags, and they had bags, and so I had just like 3 bags full of stuff on my arm walking out. And I walked into the Memphis radio room to get their stuff, and I opened it, and the guy was still in there. So I had to hey, how'd your broadcast go? Oh, it's all good. Okay, good to see you. Glad everything worked out. And then walked out 10 minutes later. I walked back in there and got all this stuff. So the other night I was watching. I don't know if you guys caught this game or not. The SMU Texas Tech women's basketball game.
DVR messed up.
Hang on, don't spoil our main content that we're about to get to now, Blake. Jake and I were going to do like 20 minutes on that game.
I had my notes.
Yeah.
Well, let me kick it off with. Our good buddy Chris Mykoski was on the call.
Okay. Big listener.
Got a few things worked in here. Nice. So if you watched SMU Texas Tech women's basketball the other night, you might have heard something like this.
Maupin back out to Briscoe. Inside to Sanogo. The junior from France. France is in Europe, and tonight she's balling in Dallas.
Yes,
she is.
And then the color guy's got to come in there. Yes, she is.
That might be our first play-by-play Easter egg Dumb Zone edition.
Yeah, might be. But yeah, France is in Europe.
Now, you know what's next, guys. This could be any of you. Something tamale related. I haven't stopped thinking about that.
Yeah.
Dan just found out what a tamale is.
What?
Yeah.
And he had a plate of them, and he's like, do you guys
know what tamales are? Yeah. He's like, I thought this was like a pepper.
He thought a tamale was a pepper?
He'd never eat candy, hot tamales.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. He's been out of Ohio long enough to know
30
better.
years. It was, I still, anyways, I can't believe it.
Another Texas product, too.
Yep, Bailey Maupin. Maupin had to leave town to eclipse 900 career points. Did it against Missouri State.
Okay, had to leave town for the eclipse.
I love that.
Okay.
That's deep.
He said he had to leave town to eclipse the point total?
So Blake left town.
I know that.
I like it.
Yeah, pretty good.
Miss Peterson, player of the game with another double-double. Monster effort.
Jessica has a buddy. It's our Bree Sorensen. We'll check in with them in just a moment. First, a look at the final numbers.
Pretty good there.
Jessica has a buddy.
Yes. Blake and Dan are very interested in just any time I say, hey, I got a buddy who, and I don't know why. We all have friends.
You know who else is a massive offender of that? Is Corby. He's got I used to stop him down and go, you have too many buddies.
Yeah.
Way too many buddies.
Douchebag just runs in our blood.
Yes.
And then here's the last one. I think this is his finest work.
A review now for the severity of that last foul. And we hadn't addressed the fact Coach, that Ella Brow is out day to day, not yet feeling 100p. So Z has to be more of a playmaker, and she's doing it in spades.
And so,
I love that.
100p. His color guy is hip and decide he wasn't going to just let that go.
Yet feeling 100p, so Z has to be more of a playmaker, and she's doing it in spades.
I love that 100p, by the way. You snuck that in like as if it was like regular communications. I like that. 100% for those at home that don't know what that means, but yes.
I can say, Coach, I'm in the zone with some new language tonight.
All right.
Did you hear his response?
Swagging?
I'm in the zone.
I'm in the zone with some new language tonight.
Swagging,
baby.
Swagging.
It's pretty good. Wow. So these guys that get relegated to do, for example, women's college basketball, high school football, the play-by-play dudes, no matter what level they're on, there's always a semblance of real voice P-by-P talent there, right?
Yeah.
But the lower you go on the rung, the color guy gets closer and closer to coming from a farm.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Blake knows this.
I mean, the color guys sound like they're from Haskell.
Yeah, it depends on...
I'll tell you one thing. They did a real good job out there running. Why is that? Why is it that the color guys can never sound good, too?
Because they're players or coaches.
A lot of times, especially at the college level of broadcasting, but also... A lot of times in like a small town, a medium town even, the color guy is just going to be the guy who talks a lot in town. So if you're a guy who
talks a lot in town,
like if you're a guy who's known in the town as like, oh, he's yapping again, like that's going to be the color guy. It's just the guy who won't stop talking.
Yeah, I guess.
Like he's at the bar, he's there. He's the boisterous guy in town.
Like, does anybody ever grow up? Like the play-by-play guys, this is an aspiration. They practice this stuff. They're looking in the mirror. They're recording themselves at home on their cassette recorders, studying the craft. This is something they want to do. Does anybody ever grow up and go, you know what? I want to be a color guy, and I'm going to work real hard at it?
No, I think it's just you're an athlete who loves ball and you like talking.
You like to talk, and you get asked to do it.
Yes.
And you say yes, and then...
Or post-retirement money.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
And, again, smaller towns, it is a guy from the farm.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, them boys out there, like I remember 73.
These kids.
Yeah.
Man, you just got to feel for these kids.
All right, let me tell you about this real quick before we get into Aaron Rodgers documentary talk. Ownwell.com/the dumb zone. That's where you can go check out getting your property taxes taken care of by someone else. If you're going to dispute, that's going to take you a lot of time. It's going to be a beating. You're probably going to have to write letters. You might have to purchase a typewriter. I don't know. But you don't have to do any of that with Ownwell. You just go to ownwell.com/the dumb zone. They help you save money. If they don't, you don't pay them. But they probably will. 86% appeal win rate, average savings of over $1,100. Takes just a few minutes. Blake did it. Saved himself some money, saved him some time. So do that at ownwell.com/the dumb zone.
Avoid the annoying hassle of purchasing a typewriter.
Yeah, that's
Call
right.
Ownwell.
That's right. So I watched the Aaron Rodgers documentary over the last couple days. It is on Netflix.
You finished it to completion?
I did.
I only made it halfway.
It's 3 episodes. They're long, hour to an hour 15 each.
It was time constraints. I'm going to. I love this stuff.
I actually really
enjoy
enjoyed it.
It's about. You put a sports documentary in front of me, I'm going to watch it.
I agree. I don't watch all of them, but this one I really liked, and I'll position it this way. I know there's a lot of people. I see you, Tim, who Aaron Rodgers is in that zone of, I just don't, Easter baskets, I don't want to hear it. Whatever it is, I don't want to hear about it. He's too self-important. He's pompous. He's just masturbatory existence. I don't want to hear it. But I'm saying I watch this so you don't have to, because I do think there's some kind of interesting stuff in there that we can get in 15 or 20 minutes. But speaking of Netflix and football, the first trailer for the Cowboys show dropped this morning. The Jerry Show.
Yeah, I'm in.
Which will be out next year. 10-part episode, I believe, where
the Jerry authorized deep look inside the team.
From like the 90s in particular. So, that'll be a whole other domination of the news cycle for 3 or 4 months. It'll probably come out right around summer or something as camp's getting going. And they just have this thing down to a science, the Cowboys. The marketing machine behind it. It's already, it's going to be a 3-month news story again. We'll ask him about it at camp, blah, blah, blah. But the Aaron Rodgers one, I'm very interested in him as a person.
And he thinks that you're interested in him as a person.
Sure. Now, it's important to remember that things weren't always like this with Aaron Rodgers. There were people who thought he was a douchebag. There were people that thought, well, this guy's kind of full of himself, the whole fig jam thing. But he wasn't really hated until the COVID thing.
Mm-hmm.
People were like, that guy's annoying. And he was also routinely, ripping your team's heart out.
Mm-hmm.
So it was easy to not like him. But he wasn't controversial or anything like that. He had started to kind of make some statements about religion and how he wanted to get he didn't feel Christianity was for him, which is, can be a controversial thing for some people.
Well, he kind of emerged, the Aaron Rodgers 2.0 kind of emerged and within the perfect storm of the controversial opinions, but also the kind of the advent of the cancel culture too. So not only was he saying things that piqued people's interest and made people's ears perk up, they also had agency to freely cancel the guy in their minds, I guess. So it was a rough time to be Aaron Rodgers, I guess.
Not even just cancel in their minds. He lost a bunch of sponsorships.
Totally.
When he had the whole dust up over immunized, vaccinated, inoculated, where that whole saga where he ended up getting COVID and then he couldn't play for 10 days and everyone's like, well, why? I thought you said you were vaccinated. And he had said, yeah, I'm immunized. And then his point was, well, nobody really followed up on it and asked me what that meant. No, so I didn't feel the need to tell you.
Yeah, like he's had his measles or mumps or chicken pox or polio,
But
the ones you get when you're little.
He also, as part of this search for greater meaning in life, and this is why I think this documentary is interesting, he's obviously gotten into the ayahuasca thing. He's into mushrooms and all forms of alternative healing and medicine. And he's in with Rogan's whole universe, and now obviously RFK, who asked him to run to be his vice presidential candidate. That occurs in this documentary. But I think the thing that's most interesting to me about it is that he's also an incredibly intense competitor. So he's this guy who his entire existence is being perfect, being the best, and winning. And at the same time, he's trying to be like a really spiritually tuned in, pure person, which is very hard to do.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And you get the sense throughout this documentary that it's basically, I'm not going to say that I identify with this because he's one of, if not the most talented quarterbacks to ever play the most popular sport. But he talks about how he won the Super Bowl, and an hour later he was like, "This is it."
Well, it's a classic. A classic tale of, you have in your mind's eye, you have this vision of what's going to complete you and make you happy. And once you attain it, you realize that it did not fill that hole that was already always there.
Yeah. And he
now
also.
What's next? How do I find this enlightenment and how do I fill this stuff?
That was part of his journey.
Yeah.
Is when he wins
kind
the
of
Super
started.
Bowl. Yeah. And so he's definitely the, whether real or imagined, haters fuel guy. He didn't really get offered coming out of high school. Had to go to a junior college, a tiny junior college. Well, it's a decent junior college, but whatever. He's not the starter right away at Cal. Had one of, if not the most embarrassing draft nights ever for a first-round player. He's got to sit behind Favre, who's not helping him out at all. Then they're losing in the playoff. He is a dude who is fueled by, you think I can't do it.
For sure.
And he's fueled by oh, yeah, I'm going to work harder than everyone else. And I'll play you some of this audio in a second. But that works for him. The problem is that is not a healthy way to live. So he wants to be, again, like spiritually in tune and present and pure. You cannot do that if your whole motivation for everything you do is fuck you. It doesn't work. So the thing is, he's trying to figure out how to be that and be that at the same time. And I don't know if it's totally – it may be possible, but this is the sort of thing that like Joe Montana or Tom Brady would have been like, what are you, gay? Just focus on football and everyone who screwed you over. That's how you be good.
Yeah, my
I'm not going to meditate.
My example is Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
It's the same. That's the way they garner motivation. But
you're a miserable person.
But this guy's also, you're right, on the side putting mud on his face and trying to become one with
that's
the
the weird thing about it, is that he's trying to be this. And the best way I can make sense of it is he kind of tries to treat his spiritual quest almost like a competition where he's obsessed about it. He's obsessed with his rehab physically and learning defenses and winning, and he's pretty obsessive. He's not halfway into this weirdo shit. He's really into it.
Stop me if you feel like what I'm about to say is going to spoil any audio clips that you have. But we talked about how he achieves the Super Bowl, realizes that he's still empty inside, and that stuff is that emptiness, that lack of fulfillment has always been there, traditionally speaking, since our childhoods. And he does speak about that, about how his parents.
Okay, I will play this. Then. Okay. So
basically, his
give me the heads
folks thought he was a pussy.
Yeah, and this is weird because again, he's all about like healing, making peace with your childhood or any kind of trauma, not letting things just run your whole scene mentally, but he's obviously still very mad about his parents.
Yes.
And if you decided like, hey, I just don't want to talk to him because that's what's best for both of us, that's one thing.
And any Freud-based therapist or psychologist is going to always point back to those developmental years of why you tend to make the choices you do going on in life, and overcorrecting, overcompensating.
It's a real thing.
Yep.
But in his case, it's like I'm going to get over it. He's definitely not over it. This is kind of a long clip, but this sums it up.
I was very fortunate when I was a kid to have parents who believed I had a very low pain tolerance. There's some lessons that were hard to learn as a child, and you react or you adapt or whatever it is. I felt like there was many times where my parents felt like I was a little soft, and because of that, I made sure I was the toughest motherfucker that I knew. Anytime I had some sort of injury, I was going to make sure that I could hold it together as well as I could. I could come back quicker than anybody said I would. So dealing with pain has just always been kind of a way of life.
Go. Got it. Come on. Yep, you got it, breast. 20.1 in there.
Feels good, just somehow doesn't feel good enough.
We're not giving it.
It's my own childhood conditioning.
Huh?
My own childhood conditioning can be through.
He's at my own childhood conditioning. It's not good enough. And the therapist lady goes, Jesus. Like,
yeah.
How many times are people around him like, I don't want to hear about this?
5 more, come on.
We hung out with some Navy SEALs this year. They came into the test facility,
Yeah.
and they said there's a difference between discomfort and pain. We were holding up logs, doing this log hold. And he said, it's not pain, it's just discomfort. Once you drop that log, you're fine. Pain's getting shot in the foot. Discomfort is just the process of fighting through the sensation you're dealing with. And I feel like I've always been able to kind of push through that, whether I'm dealing with a calf injury, a foot injury, a collarbone injury, whatever it might be. So I'm definitely thankful to my parents for thinking I was soft growing up.
That's an interesting take.
Man. He's
because look,
I don't know, man. It's just messy.
If that's me, I'm not thankful for that. I'm not. The path to where you are as an adult would have been a lot easier if your parents weren't that way. Because the speed bumps and unfulfillment that he has experienced through his life has simply been to compensate for the fact that his parents didn't see him nor accept him for who he was, and were probably really hard on him.
That's what it sounds like.
And I think he softens it up a little bit. They were a little tough on me, and I bet it was a lot tougher than he's making it out to be. But it's that mindset. It's him against the world. It's him to prove something to his folks, his parents, and which kind of leads to this existential journey that he finds himself on now, and I don't know if he's any closer by eating a bunch of concoctions in Costa Rica and eating mushrooms, if that truly does open up create a lens to your inner self. I haven't experienced that, so I can't speak to that, but I don't know, man. It sounds like this guy's pretty troubled and is coping.
He's working on it. He did win a Super Bowl because of the trouble. He's going to the Hall of Fame. He's a short word guy, no surprise here. But there's a new term that he introduced a couple times here. We're going to use this from now on.
You got any trips planned during the off season?
I'm going to go down to Costa Rica and do some ayahuasca.
Oh, nice. It's so hard to explain to people, man. But after doing ayahuasca, I really just didn't drink anymore. I was like, I don't really like it. Because you just sound crazy.
How does it compare to like other psychedelics?
It's another world. It's another world.
I would say that with other psychedelics, you go in like thinking, oh, this is going to be a good time. I like hunker down like, okay, this is going to be tough.
He calls it something else.
Yeah.
Plant medicine has been a big teacher for me, for self-love, just to learn how to love myself better. Looking back, night one of an Aya trip a few years back, and
he calls it Aya. Going down for my ninth Aya trip.
You ever done it?
No, fuck no. No, that ain't the sort of thing. I mean, you got to go somewhere to do that. I'm sure you can do it in like the country, hill country or something, but nah, that ain't for me, man.
What about you? What about you, Blake?
Interested, but no, would never do it.
I have a friend. I know people who have.
And what's the experience?
I think
what exactly is it? It's a plant-based,
widely
psychedelic.
Yeah, there's like a whole ritual. It's like a 2 or 3 day thing.
It looked like a bunch of fucking doped out dudes playing bongos.
There's going to be a lot of
circle.
There's going to be a lot of that.
So this came up on the show when he did that darkness retreat, which we thought might be interesting. What is it? 2 weeks?
3 days, right?
Oh my God!
Yeah,
okay.
I think it was
way off. 3 days.
It was a few days. Yeah.
Okay. At the time, I thought, yeah, that'd be interesting. I think I could do it. After thinking about it, there's no way. That seems like a tremendous beating.
The darkness?
Being trapped inside your mind for 3 days?
Yeah.
Being on an island with Aaron Rodgers for 3 days?
I think he'd be an interesting guy to be around.
Do you ever get the notion that he's... I don't doubt his IQ, his intelligence, but do you ever get the feeling that he comes off a little bit as fake smart?
Yeah, I do.
Like internet smart? Like he gets an idea, reads a few articles, and then speaks to it, where it's not really embedded, like the knowledge isn't truly embedded in him, and he uses those tools to maybe appear more informed than he is.
I said the same about Kyrie.
I said the same about Kyrie.
It rings a little bit false sometimes.
I don't know how to say it, but you're questioning someone else's like motives and heart, so that's hard. But I know exactly what you mean. However, I did think this is a pretty sick metaphor. This is when they are whacked all the way out of their minds. Sidebar, there's a Netflix camera crew in Costa Rica with him and like 10 or 12 other people while they're
doing the
out
shots
of their effing minds on ayahuasca.
Yeah.
Which I can't... Dude, I remember the first few times I did mushrooms, if somebody got out a phone, I was like, oh! What are we doing with that? Like, it's going to steal us. It's going to steal our souls.
I feel like you need to be shepherded through those experiences,
well,
too.
With ayahuasca, you definitely are. There's like a shaman.
When was this?
This is before this recent off season.
Okay.
He's rehabbed from Achilles, and he went then.
Is this later on in the series, in the 3-part?
The back half of episode 2 is pretty much all ayahuasca.
About halfway through that one.
So this is when they're really high, and it's not like being stoned. I mean, I don't know what it is, but you're still able to think and talk. And you can say what you want, but I thought this was a pretty sick metaphor.
I was kind of stuck on this idea that
high.
Butterfly is just another term for the caterpillar. It's really the caterpillar the entire time. And caterpillar opens his wings and just cannot fucking believe this is my life now. I get to fly around. I get to smell flowers and eat flowers. To live like that, living your wildest dreams every single day. Nights like tonight show us what is possible and what life looks like. Living it to the fullest.
Profound.
Damn,
I mean, it kind of like this is the thing.
What is the
Is you get-
butterfly really a caterpillar, but the caterpillar doesn't know, and then he has wings, and it's like, whoa, man.
Show you what
I can
life is all about.
fly
The thing is
around a
that-
flower.
And we all participate in this, but the second you start talking about, hey, what does it really mean to be alive?
Yeah.
The second you do that, which we should all probably do more of, everybody starts doing the voice Danny just did.
It's like, am I even a person, man?
Dude, it's insane that we exist.
How much?
It really is.
Yeah,
You don't have to
it
be
is.
high to stop and be
No.
like, hey, and he even talked about it. He's like, think of all the ancestors that came before you in your bloodline
And
who
it
made
all-
this decision or that decision, and it leads to now.
Brought us to this one
But to say
thing.
that, you're like, God, you're high. You're a hippie. Go sell some cars.
But the thing that's funny about that clip, the one that you just mentioned, is he says, think about all the ancestors that came before us and it all allowed us to be in this place together right now. But then right before that he says, I don't believe in coincidence. That's the definition of coincidence.
He's a bit all over the map philosophically, theologically, but he's trying.
He's
Yeah,
dude,
and that's the thing
I
is
got
that
no,
most
I got no qualms with him.
That's the thing.
He's winging it.
He is, but again, like you said, all of us are. But most big time competitors, they don't even mess with this stuff.
Yeah.
They're like, what are the rules to the game that I'm playing? Life, the sport, finances, whatever it is. I'm just going to spend every waking moment I have trying to crush and kill at that.
Have you seen
That's
this
what
yet,
it takes
Blake?
to be great.
What?
Did you watch it too?
No.
Okay. I wonder how much editorial input and or control Aaron Rodgers had over this miniseries.
He definitely had some.
I feel like he did because some of the way things are framed are not necessarily the way I think just a straight Netflix producer would frame them. For example, the show basically opens with him on a table getting a new tattoo.
I have that audio if you want.
Oh God, please play it. It's like
this is now I'll defend him on the butterfly. I'll defend him on his quest for religion and spirituality, and I do like listening to the way that he talks about God. It's very interesting to me. This is a tough one, though.
You just wanted to get some dope ink, bro.
Yeah,
That's all this is. But listen,
and it opens, of course, he's got a tattoo artist that doesn't know who he is, right?
Yeah.
And then, like, people then told me, like, yeah, he's the most famous quarterback, right? Yeah, in the whole league. And, like, yeah, one of the best.
One of them, yeah.
And I was like, oh, shit, okay. Whatever that means.
Me making a number change this year from 12 to 8. I wanted to get some sort of symbol, and 8 sideways is infinity. So definitely wanted an infinity symbol. Then I woke up this morning and I just had intuition about a dragon. And
I was laughing.
then it just all came together from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the theme. It's very Wolf of
You know
Wall
what
Street.
I've never woken up to? An intuition of a dragon.
That's very Jordan Peterson. Oh, it's an infinity.
It's
The
like-
dragon's eating his own tail
I
in the egg 'cause
used-
it goes forever.
Used to be number 12.
That's 2
Now
number.
I'm number 8. And dude, if you flip an 8 on its side, it's infinity. It's an infinity dragon.
It's
what the dick.
So the last one I'll play for you. Another thing I can't really defend him on is he does say that, like, after he won the Super Bowl, he's from a small town in Northern California. He played at Cal for 2 years, went to a really small JUCO, was the backup in Green Bay. That's about
How many years did he back up Brett to?
3 maybe?
Was it
3, I think.
Really,
Yeah.
3?
Yeah.
Holy mackerel.
So it doesn't get more under the radar for a first-round pick NFL quarterback, most likely. Like, he's not playing right away. He had come from, not a huge program.
They didn't really go into anything more than the position of where he held the football, of why he dropped in the draft as far as he did. Because some people had
You're right,
him
they didn't.
Possibly at number 1.
I think it was maybe some of it was his attitude.
Really?
They kind of hinted at. He had a big. I remember in college, Mac Brown was lobbying for Texas to play in the Rose Bowl one year. I think it was the Rose Bowl, and Aaron Rodgers was a very loud college player. He's always been a guy who will speak his mind, so maybe that scared some people off. I don't know. It was weird for sure that he fell that late, but it was relatively unknown, and then he got really famous. He won the Super Bowl, and he does bring a lot of this on himself, and I thought this was kind of interesting.
Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, first of all, I had to leave that in. That's TMZ showing him on the beach.
Aaron Rodgers. I want that voiceover job so bad.
Aaron Rodgers, Super Bowl quarterback.
I'd never been paparazzi'd until I went to Hawaii in 2011. And there was like all these pictures of me like in the water, rubbing sand on myself, exfoliating my skin. And I was like, fuck, life's different now.
Aaron, you're all set. Great, thanks.
Mike, thanks for doing that discount double check.
And then the State Farm commercials, my whole ability to move around with relative anonymity changed.
Rodgers! Discount double check!
No, I didn't do myself any favors with some of the girls I dated after that were in the public eye.
So he's talking about, like, boy, it all changed. It sucked, and I had no control over it once I did the biggest commercial campaign in America at the time.
Yeah, my life really started to suck once I started making more than I was as a football player by doing insurance commercial and banging hot ass.
Yeah, why didn't you just not do that if you wanted to? Don't do insurance commercial.
Well,
don't bang hot ass.
He's learned that. He's reflecting when he was a younger man, and those were some of the mistakes that he made. This is worth watching just for Marshawn Lynch appearances.
I got a little of that for you.
Thank you. I can't believe you and I are like the same.
Yeah.
The same clips needed to be pulled.
And I didn't put all of Marshawn in here, and I don't think I left the N-word in here.
I mean, he's
Tuesday
saying
we were debating whether or not we put that in there or not, but I think it's out of this one. But yeah,
I don't think you're going to get in trouble for playing.
The first thing Marshawn says is just awesome.
Well, shit, he was saucy as fuck in college. Like, he was raw as hell, though. Like, he helped me elevate my shit to another level.
Marshawn Lynch, touchdown!
There's been a couple times a nigga pulled me to the side. Like, I want you to be in a little bubble. I'm like, bro, I can't do that. He like, I ain't tripping off what the coaches said. This what I'm telling you to do. And that boy throw that ball up to me. And then, the coach come, hey, what the fuck you doing? Ooh. Like, oh, no, I told him to do that. So if you're going to be mad at somebody, be mad at me. I was like, oh, shit. He mean what he said.
He's great. God, I love him. Is there anybody that's ever been in the NFL, with the exception of maybe Ray Caruth and Aaron Hernandez, that are more street than Marshawn Lynch? Good.
I mean, really, it's kind of crazy that he's still accepted in proper commercial society where he can
he's kind of like
be on Conan and do this or that.
Yeah.
He's had a lot of charges.
He's like the Snoop Dogg of sports.
That's actually pretty good.
A guy that's been able to kind of like outrun that.
Because he's funny.
Yeah.
Because he's actually funny. So you're like, I don't know, you ran a couple people over more than once drunk. You're having a goof.
I love him. Why do I love it?
So it's on Netflix. It's called
Enigma.
And then, the third episode is almost all about the vaccination stuff. So if you want to...
No, I'm watching it all, man. It's really fun.
Yeah, it's a lot on that part. But
I got no problem with him doing whatever he wants to do, man.
Aya?
Sure, do some Aya. Have some opinions about vaxes and all that stuff. I'm kind of like of the minds. I could see a time where I would have just come unglued about this and just hated Aaron Rodgers. 15 years ago, if this came out then, but I kind of, it's the Keanu Reeves meme, where it's like,
1
dude,
+ 1 is 5.
Sure,
go for it.
Yeah, do your thing, bro.
He does talk about
care.
the family part of it, because I've always pointed out that I watched that season of The Bachelor with his brother, where his brother it's a visit with his family and the girl JoJo is from Dallas, and they left 2 seats at the table empty for Aaron and whoever it would have been at the time, Danica Patrick.
He didn't show up.
What's her name? Is that her name, Danica Patrick?
He dated her, IndyCar driver.
But he said she's super out there for Trump.
Who?
Danica?
Oh,
Danica. Yeah, she posts a lot. But he's Aaron Rodgers' side of the story was, look, we'd had kind of a little bit of a separation of communication. I hadn't talked to anybody publicly about it because I thought that was the right thing to do with family, was just, hey, we're having something going on behind the scenes. We don't see eye to eye on a lot of stuff. We just don't talk about it. And then he's like, and then they go on this fucking dating show and set a table for me. And the words he used really, they made a lot of sense to me. He's like, everyone in that room agreed this was a good idea. Right. It's like, how? There's 6 adults here. Are like, yeah, let's air this out on national TV on primetime network television.
Some people are judgmental of him because of the fact that he dissociates from his blood relatives to some degree, I guess. That's pretty known. I don't really have a problem with that.
No.
I really don't.
Sometimes that's the best decision.
Sometimes you need to create your own family.
And he's involved in a whole thing now with Ryan Clark on ESPN, and Pat McAfee's like the go-between here. Because Aaron Rodgers made some comments today. He's got a bunch of people giving opinions for money on ESPN now. You know, it's not highlights and news like it used to be. The obvious counter to that is, well, you're currently on Pat McAfee's opinion show, taking money to give your opinion, and back and forth we go. But
they claim he's never been paid for it.
McAfee said, yeah, we pay him because I wanted to pay him because that's how we do things. Like, he didn't ask for money, but we pay him because it's fair. That's the way we think about it.
Interesting.
It's worth your time if you're into the sports documentary, and no matter what you think of the guy, you really do have to remember that 10-year run or so, I think it might have been the best I've ever seen, just from pure quarterback play. I have never seen anybody like him. And maybe it was a lot of times it was the Cowboys.
Yeah.
All right, let's do some news, Blake, and that's going to be brought to you by Sean Kernan and 360 Wealth Management. Sit in scene here to help you with your money. Check him out. Call 469-893-0067 or DallasFinancialPlanner.net. Listen, here's how you know this guy knows money. He came up with the concept of the sit-in.
Yeah.
This company would not be in the black right now without him being like, why don't you charge for that?
I love this copy point. Do you want to have more money?
That's a good one.
He can help with that, apparently.
Yeah. You have to give him some to do it, but he'll help you 401k, IRA, whatever a 403B is. He might have just made that up. But he'll help you out. He's got over 20 years experience helping people with money. Edward Jones, Morgan Stanley. He's in the military. He's no big deal, though. His office is in South Lake, but he's willing to come to you. This is a good dude. He knows his stuff. He said, don't mention that I'm a West Point grad with an economics major. I don't know why he'd put it on there if he doesn't want me to mention it. You can, again, email him, SEAN at 360WM.net or DallasFinancialPlanner.net. There's Jake with the...
Here's Jake with the Dumb Zone News.
It's kind of got a TMZ VO style.
Oh, yeah. Let's see here. Let's start with this. This THC ban that Dan Patrick has, that he's pushing real hard here. The Observer has an article where they went around and interviewed several of the breweries in the area. We were talking about this on Tuesday with Soroy about the THC seltzer. These are probably going to be going by the wayside. Community Brewing is a very popular one here in town. They sell their own THC-infused drinks.
It's a THC 9, I guess, the one that's been able to skirt the guidelines.
Delta 9.
Delta 9, yeah.
So, yeah, this has become big business for a lot of the... Is it? Oh, it's your vape. You keep freaking me out. Move the mic.
It's THC, bro. I'm enjoying it while I can.
That's true. Yeah, these breweries have built this into part of their business, and of course the government is saying, hey, they're targeting children, exposing them to dangerous levels of THC. And I got to tell you, I don't know about that targeting children part, but there is absolutely no world in which it should be completely unregulated or just available for you to walk into a store and buy a 12-ounce drink with 100 milligrams of THC in it.
100?
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what that would do to you right now?
Yeah. I mean, I think I would not wake up for a week. I'd probably have to go to the hospital, a panic attack.
I took a 50 one time to get through back surgery because I refused to get on hydrocodone or any of that other stuff. And I woke up thinking I was another person in the middle of the night. It was, oh man, it was. I sounded probably like Aaron Rodgers with the caterpillar quote.
I'm just thinking about the caterpillar. Yeah, they make drinks out there that are 50, 100.
Picks punishment?
You just got to do the show on a 100 milligram.
100 is probably too much.
That's
50, and you got to record it.
Much, yeah,
50's too much.
10. I mean, everybody's different.
Yeah,
but drinking a drink like that, I mean, that's to me, that's I don't know. I don't know how you regulate it, but I guess the thing with alcohol is it has like maybe a limit.
Yeah,
because it can only be 100% alcohol. You know, right? There's a proof at 200 proof or a limit. Whereas THC, they can just put as much in there as they want. And it's in the same size can a lot of times. You know, you'll see it's like, oh, this one's 2.5, 5, 10, 100. They're all 12 ounces. Ooh. That's insane. So I kind of understand where the Dan Patricks of the world are coming from on that.
How about just regulate it and come up with a system rather than eliminating it? That's never worked.
Well, the funny thing about the drinks is that, I mean, anybody can get weed however they want to get it. And you can probably get gummies however you want to get it even now. But getting a hold of those drinks is not easy. How are you going to get that? Like, if you're not, you have to have somebody, your dealer doesn't have that. And you can't really ship them as easily. Like, if you go on a flight, you could pack a year's worth of edibles in your bag if you wanted to, but you're not traveling with a bunch of seltzers.
Well, the vape shop near my house, and most of them sell this stuff anyway. It's
but that's what I'm saying.
Mystery there, but what they sell the syrups.
Oh yeah,
that you mix with the drink. Yeah, tinctures that you can kind of control your own dosage of that stuff.
Well, I'm not sure how much longer that's going to be the case. But
we're going to get gambling in Texas.
Boy, it's the classic debate of which one's first. I really don't know.
I'm just saying, hedging your bets on gambling is probably about as safe as hedging your bets on weed being completely legal in this state.
I have no feel for that. I could see both of them taking another 20 years. A McKinney North High School graduate named Trevor Dutton, he was in a car crash on the way home from Seaside, Florida. This was during spring break. He was subjected to a new technology as part of his surgery, and I'm only doing this story for one reason. That's because Danny's here. He's got a fake skull now.
Well, the whole thing?
He's got a fake head?
Part of it. Skull implant. New technology. So,
what percentage of his head is fake?
Let's see. Neurosurgeons in Alabama saved his life by removing a portion of his skull, allowing the brain to swell and then heal. Wore a helmet to protect his brain where the skull was missing. And then, they were able to construct a piece of bone that would fit exactly on there. It doesn't look small.
Another a verbal issuance of me taken out of context. We were talking about the Alcatraz guy that fashioned a dummy, and it had a head that wasn't a real head. And I said, have you ever seen a guy with a fake head?
It really made me think deeply about life. Have I? Are we all just guys with fake heads?
I just didn't
traipsing about.
I didn't properly frame the question, and all of a sudden, people think that I believe that you can do a head transplant.
I mean, people have tried. People have tried.
There's also a reason why I get the meme of the pig going from one pin to another. Like he's Ronaldo Nehemiah.
Known for something.
I get that.
Here's another Danny-centric news story. Do you recall the bonanza that was COVID relief funds? Of course, there were the PPP loans. Blake probably dipped the pen pretty hard there. Contractor loans or something.
Well, then
I never did that.
There was all the bailouts for businesses that you didn't have to pay back.
But, I mean, it felt like for 8 months in the 130 News, it was this business owner caught, this business owner caught of whatever, misappropriating or stealing them.
Well, if you recall, a big point of concern during those times was what's going to happen to the arts? What's going to happen to venues, music venues, smaller musical artists, graphic artists, whatever. And the government, the federal government, approved hundreds of millions of dollars to be paid out, in theory, to keep the struggling artists and small venues alive. Well, an investigation by Business Insider has dug into where a lot of this money went, and they know how to get it with their lead because Lil Wayne, who had recently sold his back catalog for $100 million, he received something along the lines of, what was the total? $9 million. So not Danny and Mr. Chad, Sam Anderson or Jorts. He got $9 million from this pandemic relief program. He spent $460,000 on Gucci clothing.
Great.
$1.3 million on private jet flights. $175,000 for expenses related to a music festival promoting his marijuana brand, and $15,000 worth of flights and luxury hotel rooms for women whose, quote, connection to Lil Wayne's touring operation was unclear, including a Hooters waitress and a porn actress.
I think it's pretty clear.
Yeah, it does feel pretty clear. Let's see. Paid off a bunch of his debts. Mystery women is listed as $15,000 here.
I love a mystery woman.
Chris Brown threw himself a nice $100,000 birthday party with the several $million he received.
Look, if the stuff's out there and these guys know how to apply for it,
Their
and
agencies do.
And it gets granted, is that on them and their agents? No, that's on the government for not vetting these things properly.
Part of the problem, though, is the optics of it. Like, for example, Alice in Chains. The top, I think, 4 members of the band, like Jerry Cantrell, who does not sell Nissans, took in $1.4 million. And their guitar tech got almost nothing and then got cancer and had to post on like GoFundMe and other crowdfunding sites saying like, hey, I don't really have any money and COVID.
Hey, Jerry.
And then he died.
Jesus. Okay.
So I think the issue is that the people who kind of make things go, the behind-the-scenes folk, didn't get much of anything. Whereas the DJ known as Marshmello received several $million.
He's very talented.
I'm a fan.
So the guy that's collecting man-in-the-box mailbox money needs the 1.3.
Right. Or Lil Wayne, who spent a lot of the money on mystery women.
Only $15,000 on mystery women.
Makes you think it's attainable, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, we could, between the three of us, we come up with $15,000 by the end of the show, right?
We can share.
So,
knock, knock.
Wasn't there recently...
Who's there?
I can't remember which sit-in guest it was, but somebody brought us a laser pointer.
Yeah, the Dick Laser? That was TC's brother.
Okay, so it's a laser pointer, a staple of my youth.
Yeah.
Dean, if you'd like to
Just
play with it.
Wreaking FAA havoc across the land.
Movie theaters.
Cats.
Principal during an assembly. Well, we got one given to us, and that very specific sort of laser pointer is back in the news. Did you guys hear that Jamie Foxx...
Oh, great.
Makes a wiener.
Jamie Foxx had a...
I need that.
Here.
an argument and a fight at
Put it
a
on
private
Jake's
party
face.
for his birthday recently?
Uh-huh.
You don't know what I just said.
Something about Jamie Foxx had a fight at a party recently.
Damn.
Did I get it?
So
I don't look like I'm listening.
You got a dick on my face?
You got balls
Just
on your
balls.
forehead.
Okay.
I shouldn't have given
Too
bad this isn't on camera. Have you guys already burned this bit on video?
No one's seen it.
It's fucking cool, man.
So a bunch of the guys, so Jamie Foxx is there with a bunch of his friends and family having his birthday party. Of course, he almost died last year. He recently had a comedy special come out where he talked about that. And upstairs at this famous Hollywood restaurant, having their own party, were a bunch of guys from the crew, the production crew for Dick House Productions.
Oh, Jackass.
It's the Jackass crew. And apparently some crew members, like actual cast members, were there. And they were shining the penis laser pointer down on Jamie Foxx's table.
Awesome.
And on his face. And he got really mad about it.
Why?
And
It's
when
fun.
he
You
went,
didn't get mad.
He went upstairs.
Yeah,
No,
he did.
I was a little mad about that. He went upstairs and was pissed. And the one source, I love when TMZ gets quotes like this. One source says Jamie stood there. Oh, because they got in a fight. Like they start arguing, and then somebody from Jackass crew throws a glass and it hits him in the face. One source says Jamie stood there bleeding and said, "It's my birthday. What is wrong with you?"
Aw. That's sad.
On Jamie Foxx's birthday?
Come on, guys.
What's wrong with you?
So Spike Jones throws a glass at Jamie Foxx.
Yeah, Jeff Tremaine or
Yeah.
I don't want to hang out with those guys.
Why not?
I'd rather do a week of I don't know, some type of
Aya?
a week of security, working some type of military security in Islamabad or Aleppo. Then I would want to be roommates with the Jackass crew for a week.
You live a
You
little.
just never know. You're going to walk out. Every day you wake up, you're going to get punched in the head with a big boxing glove that's been constructed right outside your door. You're going to get a scorpion in your underwear. You're going to incessantly get punched in the midsection.
Your balls
in
might
nuts.
not work anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't want that. There's going to be a snake in your bed. No, I don't want to live with those guys.
Dude, that's not a bad idea. Like, is there a safe way for me to get sort of an outside-the-box vasectomy for a subscription stunt?
What do you mean?
Like
a
I don't
bootleg
want to have any
vasectomy?
more kids, but like, what can we do on video?
Brandon Aubrey kicks you in the
my
nuts.
dick into a fuel.
Jesus.
Right through the uprights, folks.
Hey, did you guys have him on Tuesday?
Yeah.
Yep. What did he say about the 70-yarder? What happened?
It was just the conditions are too. He said when he went out there, he knew there was pretty much no chance.
Kicking into the wind.
Was
into
it the
wind,
it was
outside.
the wind?
Yeah, then to try to boom it, he's got to take a different swing on it.
Kicking a cold ball.
Okay, because I'll be honest with you guys, when I realized that I was off the hook for pulling audio from that game, I had it recorded.
Yeah.
And it took me about 26 minutes to watch the entire football game.
You're not that far off from what I did, to be honest. Hillary Hickland. She is an incoming freshman legislator. You can look it up if you want.
I will.
Dan's not here, someone has to.
Hillary.
She's a state rep from Temple. And she has filed a new bill, HB 1549, which calls for, quote, restrictions on the sale of obscene devices. What we're talking about here is selling your rabbits, your wands, your dildos at Target, Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, and other major retailers. This is something we've talked about in the last handful of years. You've started to see the discreetly packaged personal massagers. Yes, at Target and at other large retail stores.
What's the problem?
She wants to limit it to sex-oriented businesses only.
They're not putting them, as long as they're not just graphic on their packaging.
To the Dunkaroos.
Yeah, or they're right next to the Hot Wheels.
Yeah.
That's fine.
It just seems so weird to me to be worried about that. I mean, just walk this through, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you are a parent, I assume, and you're worried about your kids seeing that and being like, what is that?
It's a massager.
Yeah, and also...
Conversation over.
I don't know. I mean, I guess this is a much weightier topic, but I feel like when you have the conversation about sex with your child, you should also have a conversation with them about what personal pleasure is.
Because they're going to find out anyway when they start rifling through mommy's nightstand.
Or through their Yeah, like you want them to know what that is so they know what not to do with it.
Yeah, don't put it in your mouth.
Yeah.
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 But, boy, it seemed like Blake was going to a far-off place there for a second.
Picturing what Hillary Hicklin can do to me.
Oh, my God.
You're a fan?
Yeah.
Yeah. Does she play electric violin? Watch your hat fly off.
It's like, okay, so, but your kid's going to be like, what is that? You'd be like, oh, well, people actually experience orgasm on their own. Like, I think that's a healthy thing you should talk to a kid about if they understand sex. If for no other reason, then they might be like, so I don't have to go, like, actually bone?
Yeah.
I can just do this?
Yeah.
Like, I can understand my sexuality and my sexual thoughts and my body without possibly getting syphilis, tsunami.
Nobody taught me how to do that. I had to learn it on my own. After sustaining much injury, I figured it out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like, well, I'm doing this wrong. It would have been so much more helpful.
Our kids are going to have sex robots, though.
Education.
It's probably true.
This is all for naught.
Don't you have a meeting in like 10 minutes?
Don't they want to? Is it this that they want to make you feel bad? That you have to go to a dingy place to buy a dildo? I mean, I guess like you've got your upscale sex stores, but they just don't want it at the highfalutin aisles of Target. Like,
I think it's just there's kids around.
Think of the children.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here, son, what this is a 36-pack of beer. If you drink all of it.
I know. Our priorities in this country are very
I mean,
confusing.
When Brooks is picking out his book or his toy, like, he also doesn't need to see a pocket pussy there.
Look, there's a section for that, and maybe it's like the little back room at the mom and pop video show that's over off, Plano Road and 635 called I Heart Video.
Yeah. All right, well, there's your news.
Just be discreet.
All right, bye, Hillary.
The Dumb Zone News.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you are going to enjoy brewskis, Blake, I suggest you do so with the national beer of Texas.
Let me see. Would that be Lone Star? Of course.
The one and only, Blake. Come on.
Because it's the national beer of Texas, celebrating
Yes.
140 years of brewing in Texas. Authentically Texan, perfect with a tray of barbecue. Also, some pretty sweet merch. And they got merch at LoneStarBeer.com, and we even have a promo code, DumbZone21, to get 21% off your merchandise. Must be 21 or over to purchase. But, Danny, these are not, it's not just a white T-shirt with a Lone Star logo. These are some pretty sick shirts.
The company that makes their shirts is in downtown Fort Worth, and believe it or not, our bar, Twilight, which also carries Lone Star, we needed to re-up on our swag, and I called our guy this morning, and it's the same dude that does the Lone Star merch, and their stuff is incredible. It's not just some cookie-cutter, big corporate, silly shirt that nobody's going to wear. Their shirts are legit cool.
So check them out, folks.
Yeah, so whether you're red can, blue can, whatever, thank you, Lone Star, for sponsoring the Dumb Zone.
The Dumb Zone presents Today in History.
Got a lot of shit going on over here, okay?
I'm not complaining,
why don't you just
dude.
relax that it's not perfect?
I didn't say anything.
And just chill out.
No, you didn't say anything, Blake. Come on.
Today is Thursday, December 19th, the 354th day of 2024. Just 12 days left in the year. I don't know anything about this. Hopefully you guys do. But in 1985... AT&T threatens to cut off phone service to 46-year-old Edward Johnson of Atlanta. He was upset at the amount of money his mother was giving monthly to the moral majority.
Ooh.
So Johnson programmed his computer to dial the 800 number of Jerry Falwell's old-time gospel hour twice every minute around the clock for 8 months.
That is the
8
sweetest
months.
haterade I've ever heard.
He was mad that his mom almost gave the family farm away.
Yeah, it's probably his money.
The
in time.
phone bill came out to about $500,000.
Holy crap. Dude, that's expensive.
Do you remember this?
I remember, I kind of think I thought this was a myth, but I do remember there was a story, this must have been it, of a guy who got really upset that his mom had gotten hoodwinked. That was a common thing, though.
Oh, my God.
You know, and even with, like, the son being, in church, religious, is like, no, this is not.
It's a scam. Boy, we got on the, me and my roommates, my buddies, back in the day.
buddies?
When it was like 6 of us living in a 2-bedroom apartment, each paying about $60 a month collectively, or once we put it all together. We got on the Robert Tilton mailing list and the shit that they would send us.
Oh, yeah.
And trying to get your cash. They had this one thing called a prayer wallet. And you open it up, and it's just it's a piece of paper that's folded over. It's just basically an envelope, but it's got his head on it and money. And I guess you're supposed to put your money in it.
Yeah, and write
and
the
then
prayer.
send it to him.
Yeah.
And let him know or what you need, and then he'll pray over it, and then all of your wildest dreams will come true.
For a fee.
For a fee, yeah. It depends on how
That
much
is
you...
insane. There's not a single person I've ever met in my life who is a Christian who believes in that.
Is that what Jesus had in mind when he was trying to spin the message or share the message?
No.
Prayer wallet.
No, I kind of get the sense that Jesus was like a pretty weak hustler. Like that's where I see myself in him. Where it's like this guy was too soft, getting ripped off. My daughter the other day had like you send them to school with money, and they can buy things for their family members. You write how many family members are on the envelope, what they can spend. It was like $5 each, and then they spend up to what they had to learn about transactions and money, whatnot. She gets in the car. She has a $1 bill left. It was out of 50 or something. I said, "Oh, you had $1 left?" She said, "No, I had 5, but such and such, one of her friends." I asked her if she wanted to trade the 5 that I had for the 1 that she had because I wanted to be kind. And I'm like, "You're an idiot."
No, she's just being raised by a bunch
By
of
a
liberals.
pussy. I know. This is why I sucked at dealing drugs. Somebody come over, they'd be having a terrible. I'm just like, just take it. I don't care.
Same.
Just take it, bro. I'm not really trying to.
Other than personal stash, I don't think I ever cleared a penny from moving
Just
weed.
looks sad, and I'm like, you need this, bud.
Yeah.
You'll be all right.
In 1996, the School Board of Oakland voted to recognize Black English, also known as Ebonics, in a decision that set off a firestorm of controversy.
Well, you talk like we talk.
Says the board later reversed its stance.
Yeah, that's whatever.
In 1999, Orlando Brown of the Cleveland Browns was ejected from a game for pushing referee Jeff Triplett to the ground. Triplett had accidentally hit Brown in the eye with a weighted penalty flag.
Brown eye.
It messed him up, too, didn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Like, he threw that flag pretty hard, and those things are full of sand.
He went temporarily blind for several years.
So, yeah, Triplett, maybe you get what you reap what you sow there, buddy.
In 2001, the fires that had burned beneath the ruins of the World Trade Center in New York for the previous 3 months were declared extinguished.
Isn't that incredible?
Did we need that? Did that make people feel better?
I don't know, Blake.
In 2010, Philadelphia's Deshaun Jackson returns a punt 65 yards for a touchdown as time expires in the Eagles' 38-31 comeback win at the NY Giants. It's the only game-winning punt return touchdown in NFL history as the Eagles came back from a 31-10 fourth-quarter deficit. I was watching this game because I had Deshaun Jackson on my fantasy team, and that got me a lot of points.
Yeah.
But it was also a pretty cool comeback.
There's one person in the world that gives a shit about that fact.
In 2011, the Ham Fighters announced that the Texas Rangers had won posting rights for the pitcher Yu Darvish.
It was a big time, man. I was checking my Newberg report every day.
Golly.
Like, boy,
that sweepstakes,
is
boy,
it really
we
what they
thought
say
we
is?
had punched the card. Remember all the internet memes about his release point's the same.
Oh, yeah.
Here's 12 different pitches, and it all comes from the same place.
Yeah.
This voice is making a comeback.
You think so?
It is today.
And then finally, in 2014, President Barack Obama said Sony Pictures Entertainment made a mistake in shelving The Interview, a satirical film about a plot to assassinate North Korea's leader.
Let's hear it. Go ahead.
Seth Rogen.
Seth Rogen.
Sony defended its decision, saying it had no choice but to cancel the film's Christmas Day theatrical release because the country's top theater chains had pulled out in the face of threats.
That whole saga was very, very important for me.
Crazy.
Because I was obviously a big Rogan Franco guy, and it's like some of your comedy heroes are now the target of a rogue, whatever you want to call North Korea, but like they've made it to the international threat level. It's always awesome.
Who thought that a silly comedy movie would poke a bear that big?
The guys from Freaks and Geeks have pissed off a nuclear power.
Yes, to the point where the theaters. It was actually the motion picture companies that held it back.
Yeah,
amazing. Is it good? I've never even seen it.
It's fine.
Yeah, I saw it.
It's definitely not worth all that.
Yeah,
but
I was gearing up to see something explosive, and then it was like, okay, that's not even that funny. Birthdays today. Jose Leclerc is 31. I believe you've had some funny comments about his demeanor before.
Yes, he is the pro athlete that, in my mind, when in the field of play and asked to perform, most looks like he would rather be anywhere else than doing that job. He would stand on the mound. He would look up. He's a right-hander, so he would, I think, look up at the left field foul pole and just kind of stare at it like, fuck, I wish I wasn't out here right now.
I can see
even
that.
when he was pitching well,
Yeah.
it felt like he was like, just let me stop this.
I always felt like he looked like he got into the transporter on the Starship Enterprise, and the planet they beamed him down to was a baseball stadium.
Yeah, and
he's just kind of like,
oh, man, there are a lot of people in here.
Am I?
Ian Kennedy is 40.
Of the Diamondbacks?
Dan says, look at his stats and explain 2011, so I will. His career stats, he is 104 and 114. His ERA is 4.16. His whip is nearly 1.3. And in 2011, he went 21 and 4 with a sub 2.9 ERA in 222 innings. He got votes for the MVP. So yeah,
that's really
pretty weird year.
Brady Anderson spike there.
You don't see it as much in pitching, though.
No, you don't.
Mike Sherman is 70.
He figured things out that year, Jay.
Aggie coach.
Yeah.
Packers too, right?
Of course.
Okay. Jake Plummer's 50.
Good friend of mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a cool dude.
He seems like it.
He's a really cool dude. He was
misunderstood.
He was there. Yeah, I mean, he's kind of Aaron Rodgers before Aaron Rodgers. He was there the night. He didn't even really announce himself, but we noticed he was at the table next to us the night that me, Donovan, and Soroy watched like Bruce Smith and Steve Berline and other NFL legends do stand-up comedy. It was so weird.
Yeah.
Berline losing the crowd.
Yeah, Soroy was like passing out. Kid was there, and then the table next to us, I was like, I think that's Jake Plummer. It's like this tiny little hotel ballroom. Berline's up there fighting the crowd, which is like 90% black. And he starts telling jokes. He's like, "Oh, nobody wants to listen when the white guy talks in here, huh?" I was like, this is incredible.
Warren Sapp is 52.
Colorado defensive line coach.
Kevin McHale, 67.
Damn, I hated that guy.
Alyssa Milano's 52.
Of Teen Steam.
Teen Steam, yeah. Which Blake has seen a clip from today.
And I will watch more later. Jake Gyllenhaal, 44.
He's pretty great, I think.
I think you're right.
Annie Murphy's 38 from Schitt's Creek.
Don't know him. Player.
Jill Talley is 62. It says married to Tom Kinney and was also in Mr. Show.
Okay. You should go back and watch that, Blake.
Mr. Show?
Yeah. It's very good.
Tim,
y'all are big Tim Heidecker fans. Have you watched his stand-up from like 4 years ago?
Is it not good?
Holy cow. It's amazing, and I don't know if it's funny.
Okay, so there's one where he's talking about E-Trade.
That's in there.
Yeah, and it's just on a...
It's anti-comedy is
what it is.
Different plane It really is.
Yeah. But the clips... It depends on what you think it... I don't know how to say it. It kind of depends on what you think it is. But he's pound for pound the weirdest entertainer of my life.
It's taking Andy Kaufman to new heights is what he's doing.
Yeah, he's kind of a dick too.
You dealt with him or
no? I've just heard from people who have.
Oh yeah,
like venue people. Like he's just way
real complicated.
Yeah.
Wow, he's got a vision. I don't know if I see it, but it's pretty interesting. I think Dan probably loves him.
He does. They've gone to see him. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's wild, man. It's on Hulu. Give it 30 minutes.
Losers still using E-Trade. He doesn't know about all the bonuses and customer portal upgrades.
I LOL'd quite a bit, but
so
there's other
weird.
times where I'm like, man, I think I'm watching something genius. I just don't know yet.
Tim Reed is 80 from That 70s Show. Ken Marino's 56 from Children's Hospital.
That's a Dan thing for sure.
Yeah. Jake Paulina Gretzky's 36.
Oh, God. She's so special.
She's unique.
She is.
Yeah.
Born on This Day Now Dead, Bobby Lane.
Who's that?
Football? I think a Texas quarterback.
Yeah.
Got his stats up right here.
Like the Galloping Ghost or something like that. No, seriously, I think that's his nickname.
196 touchdowns, 243 picks.
Okay. Highland Park High School.
How many picks? Is he the Galloping Ghost?
No.
Who is?
I don't know.
Did you look it up?
I looked up Bobby Lane. Who's next?
So I was just reading up on Bobby Lane. Al Kaline died on this day in 2020.
Red Grange was the Galloping Ghost.
Okay.
What a dumb name.
And
both of them.
Reggie
Red Grange.
Reggie White, born on this day now dead. Dead on this day still
He
dead.
had some wild views.
He was cray-cray.
Yeah.
In 1814, Joseph Brahma invented the hydraulic press. It's pretty good.
Boy, you can suck me into 20 minutes on Facebook videos watching that hydraulic press break shit. Here's a basketball on a hydraulic press. All right, what's next? A marble. What's next?
In 2009, Kim Peek, the inspiration for the film Rain Man.
Didn't know that.
In 1915, Alois Alzheimer. This says invented dementia.
Yeah. He just doesn't know it.
All right.
And dead on this day still dead in 2008, Doc Ellis.
Is that the guy that pitched on acid?
Can I read these Reggie White comments to you guys? So he was like a Baptist preacher, you know?
I wish that was clean. Go ahead.
He said that each racial and ethnic group, because he would just talk, and he was upset that he said he was offended. Homosexuality is one of the biggest sins in the Bible. He was offended by gay and lesbian groups that compare their struggle for rights to the struggles of African Americans. He said each racial and ethnic group has its own gifts that, when taken together, form a complete image of God.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, interesting.
Trying to follow,
but in describing those gifts, he's basically saying, like, look, we all have something. White said that blacks, quote, like to sing and dance, and whites know how to tap into money. He said that Hispanic people, quote, are gifted at family structure. You can see a Hispanic person and he can put 20 or 30 people in one home. With Asians, he said they, quote, know how to turn a television into a watch.
What?
Look at them over there tinkering. They're electronics.
And that was Today in History.
Blake says he's not wrong on any of that stuff.
All right.
That was just in your ears.
Today's show brought to you by our friends at Fairlease, fairlease.org, and the personal injury attorneys over at Frankel and Frankel, 214-817. Keep mashing that 3333. If you get in an accident, make sure you're okay, then call the Frankels, and they will give you the help that you need and deserve.
Oh, no.
Frankel and Frankel.
So G.I. Joe.
Adios, mofo.
We gotta go before this becomes a zoo.
Thank you for watching my video. Subscribe and type for my name if you want to watch more of my videos.
I'm low on funds, but high on semen. All these girls out here are baby crazy, but they don't want a bum father, he's lazy. They don't want the old-fashioned way, see, getting laid just for a baby, don't play me. So instead they want sperm from a donor, but they don't want him to be some stoner or some broke actor or some comic book loner. They want him to be strong, rich with a big boner. We talking about my darling, so they can have a baby alone then. We talking about my darling, so they can skip the part of boning. They want that baby to come out and be cute. Thanks for ejaculating, sir, but I don't wanna meet you. They just want your seeds to make them a person. You jacked off in a cup for $500, what's worse than that? Not a lot. Come to think of it, this whole situation is hot. Not, it's so fucking weird, but I respect the game. Just remember you have my cum, but not my name. We talking about sperm donors, so they can have a baby alone, yeah. Please don't be alone, yeah. We talking about sperm donors, so they can skip the part of boning. They want that baby to come out and be cute. Thanks for ejaculating, sir, but I don't wanna meet you. They just want your seeds to make them a person. You jacked off in a cup for $500. What's worse than that? Not a lot. Come to think of it, this whole situation is hot. Not, it's so fucking weird, but I respect the game. Just remember you have my cum, but not my name. We talking about